right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz, Monday, January 30th, 2023. Damn, dude, we're almost through the first month of the year already.
Exactly. It's gone quick.
Had a lot of football yesterday. Already having some coaching hires this morning. You have you have half the world mad at Bart Scott now for some comments he made. So got a lot to talk about this morning. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin. How's it going, Jay?
You know, for us, it's going great. For the city of Cleveland, man, not so great because, as you know, Cleveland icon, John Adams passed away at 71. If you don't know who John Adams is, he's the guy that brought the bass drum that he bought at a garage sale for $25 back in the 1973 season and pretty much banged that drum forever. Putting out those beats at Municipal Stadium and then in the Progressive Field once they got that new field. And he's been an icon there for 5 decades. And he performed in several All-Star games, World Series, things of that nature. So when you think of Cleveland lore, you think of John Adams and that drum in the left field bleachers always banging those beats to the point where when I believe it was in 2021 home opener at Cleveland, he was sick and not able to attend. And so they went and got the drummer for the Black Keys to come in and bang the drum for him. And if you go to Progressive Field and go to where they have a bronze drum for John that's actually there now. And if you go to where his seat is, there's actually a plaque there now of where he sat in the bleachers. So again, rest in peace, John Adams. As far as baseball icons and heritage and the history of baseball is concerned, you will be missed.
Yeah, for sure. And we're also joined by Deontay Kelly. I know he's not real excited about some Chargers news that we got this morning. So this will be a fun conversation here in a few. But how's it going, Deontay?
I'm good. You know, offense still the same offense.
I promise you, we're going to jump into that.
Oh, I can just feel the sadness and depression coming through the TV as we speak.
Before we jump into that, we had 2 big games yesterday. First one with the 49ers at the Eagles. Brock Purdy gets hurt early in the first quarter. Turns San Francisco basically into a one-dimensional team. They bring in Josh Johnson. He tried to play, but then he got hurt. I think got put in the concussion protocol, so he had to go off the field. So that's why they brought Brock Purdy back in, who couldn't throw the ball. So it turned ugly there in the fourth quarter. I still believe that if Brock Purdy played, it would have been a whole lot better game. Maybe even the 49ers pull out a victory, but I think it would have been a real close game if we wouldn't have had all the injuries happening yesterday. But can't take nothing away from the Eagles. They done what they were supposed to do. They defended home field, and they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a like we've talked, man, before, man. We had really good games over the weekend, but there were a lot of bizarre plays that played out between both wild card games as well, both in San Francisco as well as over there with the Bengals, man. Just crazy stuff, man. Stuff that you wouldn't normally see. You know, you saw where Patrick Mahomes had the fumble that he had, and of course it became a turnover. But man, what a time to be alive, man! When you look at the Bengals and Joe Burrow with that lofty pass that got intercepted, and then he had that one where he just threw it too short and got intercepted. I mean, just things that when we talk about the top quarterbacks of the league and who's better than who, this, that, and the other. I think we saw Patrick Mahomes struggle. We saw Burrow struggle. The only one that I didn't really see struggle too much, truthfully, really was kind of Jalen Hurts in terms of turnovers.
I didn't think Jalen Hurts played that great of a game, but
I didn't play that great. But I'm saying is in terms of turnovers, we didn't see the turnovers from him though.
Yeah.
Deontay, you talk about that scrum, the scrum that got Trent Williams thrown out. Man, he threw that Eagles player like it was nobody's business, man.
Yeah. What'd you think about the 49ers Eagles game, Deontay?
I think it was honestly, I looked at the game. I know they knocked out Brock Purdy. also Josh Johnson. But honestly, I really think the Eagles were just a better all-around football team. They had the better defense. They had a better defense. They really the one thing San Francisco said, they are good at the pass. So Philly just did it. All right, we're just gonna run the ball down their throat, and they did it successfully. So I think it's one of the most unguardable offenses due to the fact that they can legit do everything on the field. They can move the ball downfield. They can do drives. They can run ground and pound, because the whole thing start is with that front line with Lane Johnson and Travis Kelce leading the Eagles in that front line in the offensive line. How the Eagles been so successful in the past years, I'll say 5 or 6 years. Because I'll say, is this like their second Super Bowl in like 5 to 6 years?
They were in 2017.
They're very good on their front line. In the offensively and defensively, set the tone of that whole team and how that team is going to go. And I think that front line set the tone for the team this year and last night. And I think that's how they're going to be successful and why they're the favorites to win the Super Bowl right now, opening off.
Yeah, first off, Anthony Price,
I disagree.
Hey, Anthony Price said, "Jay, what do you mean, man? All he did was hand it." That's right. Hey, that maybe all he did was hand the ball off. But did he turn over and did he die? First off, secondly,
I disagree.
but secondly, though, let me ask you this: what kind of game, and not to make excuses for the 49ers and the loss that they took, but you got to admit, Deontay. And Purdy not gone down. They could have been a different game. I mean, the fact that when Purdy went closer, down, and then they put in Josh Johnson. Dude, you know how many teams Josh Johnson has been played on since 2008? Try 14. 16 teams. No, 16. 14. 16 teams. 16. I mean, when you put a guy in like that, when Purdy went down, everybody knew when Purdy went down, that game was done. There was nothing that 49ers could have done at that point.
No, it really affected the game.
I agree. I think if Brock Purdy would have been in, it would have been a very close game. But I think due to the fact the Eagles are the most well-balanced team in football, I think we got to do it. They have a very solid quarterback. Their running game.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. The Eagles are a very well-balanced
I think it would have came down to the end. I think it was going to go down to the end
I think it was going to be a 3 to 4 point game.
Yeah, I think it was going to come down to.
I was really sad, dude. When Purdy went down, I was so pissed off because I felt like, okay, when Purdy went down, I was like, okay, there's nothing the 49ers can do.
If you look at the 49ers defense was doing pretty good the first 3 quarters stopping the run. But they're about the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, they couldn't stop the run no more, but they got tired because the defense was on the field the whole game because the offense was one-dimensional and couldn't throw the ball. Everybody knew they were going to hand it off. So they couldn't stay on the field. So that defense, I think, got tired there toward the fourth quarter, and then that's when you saw the Eagles pulling away more.
Right.
The defense was playing pretty good there for a while.
Yeah, Gainwell and Sanders both had really good games running the ball.
No, I do agree with AP on this. Hurts' accuracy was bad during that game. I know he didn't throw interceptions, but if you look, his receivers were picking the ball up off the ground or it was behind him. His accuracy wasn't very good on Sunday.
He didn't play the most spot-on game yesterday. I'll agree on that. But I think how they were running the ball, they commanded it. So yeah. I think Miles Sanders, Gainwell, Boston Scott, even Jalen Hurts, they decided to take the game over running the ball because we all knew it was going to be hard to throw against San Francisco. They wasn't going to be the most successful time. They have the 2 best linebacking duos in football. They have Nick Bosa, which is most likely the defensive player of the year, even though Chris Jones has something to say about it yesterday. Shout out to Chris Jones.
I think we all figured out. I think we all figured out Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL.
They do have the best quarterback in the NFL too.
Yeah, but Jones did. Jones probably had the best game in his career yesterday.
Yeah, Jones probably had the best game out of everybody last night because Jones took over the game last night. If it was for Jones, they would have won that game. Yeah. But I think it's just the Eagles. They're so well balanced.
Had a flat tire.
I believe the Eagles are so balanced in how they won that game. Purdy, it would have probably been a different game. Probably been a better game, but I honestly think if they never got that 4th and 3 and Devontae Smith with the catch
which
that
wasn't a catch. Which wasn't a catch, by the way.
That wasn't a catch. I think the game could also shifted differently
Yeah,
as well.
that's 7 points they wouldn't have got, and San Francisco took over in the middle of the field.
Yeah, that's the drop. That drive would have ended. Yeah. It was 4th and 3. The momentum would have shifted. San Francisco
I don't know. I mean, I know. You know what? I think regardless of whether that catch was completed or not, they destroyed them, man. Honestly, I mean, when Purdy went down, there was nothing they could have done. That game was gonna be lost no matter what.
But that was before Purdy went down, and that could have.
No, I'm tracking that. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying whether you take that away or don't take it away, it wasn't really going to matter in the grander scheme of things. You know what I'm saying?
It could have changed the momentum of the game. That play where Purdy got hurt might not have happened.
No, I mean, I know where you're coming from. I think what changed the momentum of that game is when Purdy went down. When Purdy went down, that game was done.
What I'm saying, Purdy might have not went down. That play might not even have happened because the Eagles wouldn't have had that momentum they had. They might not have blitzed on that play. You just never know.
Well, what we do know is Purdy did go down. That was a great momentum changer.
Oh yeah.
Once Purdy was down, that was the game.
Oh yeah. Once he was down,
once Purdy was down, everybody knew that was the ball game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
so why everybody hating on
they've been the best team in the NFC almost the whole year. So it's always been in their San Francisco. So they did what they were supposed to be. They did what they were supposed to be done. I feel so happy for Jalen Hurts because a lot of people counted him out. And now look at him. He's a Super Bowl. He's playing the quarterback. He's playing the Super Bowl as a quarterback. AJ Brown traded for AJ Brown, changed Hosey. Hassan Reddick in the postseason he's became a premier elite talent at the linebacking position and pass rushing. Philly's pass rush became solidified, and I think this year's show proves that Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey are bona fide Hall of Fame linemen. I think this was a very successful year for Philadelphia, and shout out to Howie Roseman for orchestrating this team. 15 out of 22 starters are homegrown and were developed in Philly. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. They actually deserves it.
You know, if I'm Jason, is it Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Bengals?
No, Zach Taylor is the head coach.
Zach Taylor. Okay, I just want to make sure I had his first. I know his last name was Taylor, but anyway, if I'm Zach Taylor, man, I don't know what I'm more mad at: the fact that Burrow threw 2 interceptions, or that Osei, however you say his name, that number 58. With that last penalty they gave, to put them in the field goal range. I mean, both of those guys, cost the Bengals.
I think that line cost the Bengals that game more than.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Both of them are pretty costly, right? I mean, you can say that, right? But those 2 interceptions did lead to points as well, right? So, I mean, both of them cost that game. But I will say this: at least Burrow was trying. To get the ball to his player. That boneheaded play at the end was just complete stupidity. So, I mean, if you're going to be mad at anything, I'm going to be more mad at that penalty than I am that Joe Burrow.
He was playing solid all game, though.
I'm going to be mad at the guy for getting the penalty for losing his head, but he did play a good game other than that.
He was all over.
You can play the best game of your life. And you can play the best game of your life, but if that one boneheaded move costs your team a win, fuck it. It's kind of like, we don't care about all the good stuff you do. We only care about the one bad thing you did, because the one bad thing you did cost you the ability not to go to the Super Bowl.
Out of that whole front 7, he was the only one that showed up.
Well, he showed up, but he didn't completely show up.
I blame the loss on the offense. I understand what Burrow throwing 2 picks was one I don't really blame, because one of them picks was basically a punt. So the other one, that was a bad timing pick. And it was just a tip drill too. But I honestly think the offensive line failed because they could not stop Chris Jones, Frank Clark. In the first 9 possessions, Joe Burrow was sacked 4 times. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. And he was getting pressured. Chris Jones had 2 sacks and 8 quarterback pressures himself. So Joe Burrow cannot did not have any time to throw the ball. And that's where he had to throw the 50-50 balls, the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And 2, Tyler Boyd was banged up. The Bengals, it was just a bad. Yeah, he needs to. Yeah, he needs. I agree, Anthony.
But the thing is, though, their offensive line was playing good until you had those 3 guys go down.
Yeah, they went down 3 times back. Did they go? They lost 3 linemen in the last 3 games.
3 straight games in the last 3 games. So I mean, that line was better this year until then.
That's the only thing. I think it was a very good game. I think it was Mahomes playing on that ankle, and he played like that. I have to give Mahomes his props. I'm not the biggest Mahomes fan, but shout out to that. But also, there was also a lot of game. There was also a lot of calls in that game that could have went the Bengals' way, but they screwed over the Bengals. I could say
a block in the back on that kick return that set up that field goal.
Yeah, kick return to set up field goal. I never in my life ever seen a do-over on 3rd down.
that was kind of fucked up. You're already running the next play, and they stop it and say, "Well, we're doing the play before the last play over." Like, what the fuck?
And then you realize the last play they got the sack, but then Eli Apple got the pass interference, defensive holding for the 1st down. So
there was some call. All the breaks went Kansas City's way for sure when it came to a lot of their close calls. But that happens sometimes.
Then you got these Chiefs fans saying we don't get any calls. Like, I ain't never heard that in my life. That's a BS thing, but okay.
Hey, let me ask you this, Scott, before we move on to the Chiefs Bengals, because our resident Chief fan should be on any minute, so I'm trying to hold off till he gets on. But now you got a lot of people coming out yesterday. It was actually trending on Twitter last night. NFL is rigged. do you believe that the NFL is rigged, Jay?
I don't think the NFL is rigged. Not at all, man. No, hell no. Look, that Eagles game was phenomenal. You can't. The fact that Purdy went down, it is what it is. But it wasn't rigged. I mean, you had Josh Johnson come in. What was he going to do? That guy was horrible.
Absolutely.
So I mean, when Purdy went down, that game was done. You can't rig that.
I think that San Francisco and Philly, I think that was just an unfortunate current events. Because San Francisco, the one thing that we all said, Kyle Shanahan can win with any QB. The football gods showed him that he can't win with any QB.
No, you can't. Look, I don't care who you are. That's whoever said that is ridiculous and really needs to rethink their life.
No, there was a few people believe Kyle Shanahan could have won with anybody over there. He would have had a week to prepare with them. He could have won. I personally thought.
Listen, hold on. When you got a guy that's been around the league since 2008 and been to 16 teams, there's nothing you can do for a guy like that. The fact that he's still in the league, period, is amazing. It's amazing.
But you gotta remember, he just got called up off a practice squad because they needed somebody because they were on their 4th quarterback. So it wasn't like he'd been in the league all year. I
get that, but this wasn't his first rodeo with the 49ers. This is his second rodeo. I mean, he played for multiple teams multiple times, since 2008. I mean,
what I'm saying is he's one of them guys.
Hell, look at if that's the case. Well, look at what's his face. They came off the plane 40 at Baker Mayfield 48 hours and goes in there and takes out the Raiders. I mean, and that one fumble. Look, that dude had a glove on and he still couldn't take the fumble. Couldn't take the shotgun pass. So what the hell?
Yeah, you do got a point.
Anthony Price said Josh Johnson was playing for the Eagles.
Man, hey, listen, you're playing bad. You're playing bad when they pull you only to put their injured quarterback back in.
They had to pull him because he got hurt.
He got a concussion, but I think the concussion was rigged. I don't think he really got a concussion. I think they just said, hey, go down, act like you got a concussion. We're going to pull your ass out and put it back in.
Oh, fuck.
They got radios in those helmets. It's like, hey, Josh, Josh, go down. Go down and start and just flail around like you don't know what's going on.
Deontay Kellen Moore gets hired as a Chargers offensive coordinator. In my thoughts, this is pretty much a lateral move. I don't look at Kellen Moore as that much better, if he is even a better coordinator than Joe Lombardi. I don't think it's a real good fit with Justin Herbert. You're a Chargers fan. What's your thoughts on this?
I feel the exact same way, Chris. There's no improvement. There's no change into the offense. Dallas problem was that they didn't utilize Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard to their highest potential when Dak was on the field. We have Justin Herbert. I don't think Kellen Moore is going to, utilize the run whatsoever. I believe the situational football awareness sometimes is not at the same level as Joe Lombardi. That's not saying a lot if it's at the same level as Joe Lombardi. It's just, I just don't understand I understand he's an experienced head. I understand he's an experienced offensive coordinator. Yeah, his red zone efficiency is very, very good. One of the best in red zone efficiencies. We was one of the worst in the league. Also, I understand even with the job that he did with Cooper Rush once Dak was hurt, how Cooper Rush was playing. I don't feel like he's going to call plays in that manner. I think if he has a certain personnel, he's going to call it a certain way. It's not about the system. It's about who he has on this personnel. And I just don't think it's a good situation. I believe he's had some very good offensive runs with Dak. And a lot of people are going to say in Dallas that Dak is the bigger problem than Kellen Moore. I don't feel like this year was an indictment off Kellen Moore and his bad play calling. I think this year was just simply on Dak alone. But I just feel like it's Joe Lombardi over again. The only thing I think is different from Joe Lombardi, I think Kellen Moore wouldn't blow a 27-point lead. I ain't see him do that yet. But, hey, we see new things every day. So,
yeah, and I mean, coming from a Cowboys fan, I think it was 50-50 with Dak and Kellen Moore, right? I mean, it was 50% on the execution by Dak, and it was 50% on the play calling by Kellen Moore. I think, like a lot of people have said, the play calling of the Cowboys is extremely predictable. It's not hard to figure the Cowboys' offense out, and that's the part that falls on Kellen Moore. Now, the execution, the picks, things like that, yeah, that falls on Dak, no doubt about it. But the way that the offense is constructed, the plays that they call, that all falls on Kellen Moore. So that's why I say you got to give it 50-50 on that. And the fact that, like I was telling you earlier, I don't think that Kellen Moore has done necessarily a good enough job in the developmental process with Dak. And I think that Justin Herbert could suffer the same effects that maybe his developmental process could be hurt by having Kellen Moore over there as well.
I agree. I know people is going to use in Kellen Moore's defense that Dallas was ranked number 1 in offense, one of the best offensive teams last year in 2021 and 2022, even with Dak being out 5 games, that they was one of the best offenses still in the NFL. They was 11th in scoring despite Dak being out. You also had – they was ranked in the top 3 and 4 last year in offense. I understand Kellen Moore has some type of potential and some type of upside. I just feel like it's a lot of Joe Lombardi. But, hey, I think with Kellen Moore, could he be a good developer? I believe there's a reward, but I think there's a higher risk. The risk is very higher. I think Kellen Moore, a bright young mind as a coach, I believe him being a quarterback before and him coaching Justin Herbert, I think Justin Herbert would be more able to listen. I feel like, and also in Kellen Moore's offense, he just stayed there. Mike McCarthy, that was not really his system. So I'll give that also with the Mike McCarthy. I believe probably sometimes it could be a good split. And probably Kellen Moore somewhere else would be better. I just don't want him.
I don't know. Hey, look. Hey, he was there. He was there with what's his face, Jason Garrett, and he was still the same. It was the same offense.
Wasn't the quarterbacks coach with Jason Garrett?
Huh?
Yeah, he was a
quarterback coach with Jason Garrett there.
I think he started out but then he was the offensive coordinator.
Well, he was an offensive coordinator with Garrett. Yeah, he started out as a quarterback, but he did get elevated through Garrett, and yeah, he called plays for Jason Garrett. I just don't. I see the same regime in the offense under McCarthy as I did under Garrett. And what's the common denominator in all of that is Kellen Moore.
I just pray that we can have some improvement on offense. If we can just run the ball and don't run the same things all over again, it's okay. Cause I give Kellen Moore a shot because of what I seen what he did with Cooper Rush and how Dallas looked offensively, and they still look like they could win games, even though the defense played a lot under that last year. And the offense before Dak got hurt last year was pretty good. I just don't know. I feel like it's the same thing.
You know what I know? Allen and Mike are not the Lamb and the Gallup. You know why? Because Allen and Mike stay hurt more often than Lamb and Gallup. You got to stay on the field first to be compared.
Yeah, that's true. When they're healthy,
I know where he was going with that.
I think Allen's better than all of them when he's healthy. Williams is the big play guy, but Allen can run about any kind.
Yeah, our problem is we've been banged up last year. I still think Joe Lombardi is the biggest reason why we were. But
well, hey, look, one thing I know about Keenan Allen been banged up his whole life.
He has. He came
in. Dude, I swear to God, every season that dude is on the IR.
The first 5 or 6, like his first 7 or 8 years, he was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. When healthy, he averages 90 plus 1,100 yards and like 5+ touchdowns.
Hey, what was the word you said before healthy?
But what he was saying, his first 5 or 6 years, he didn't have the injury problem.
He didn't have the injury problems. He started getting injury problems like last year. He's very and last year he was
bullshit. No, that's
came
not
in the NFL hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
He goes way back before last year. Try like 2017, 16. He's been injured. Hey, he's been injury prone since I know for a fact since around 2016. I know for a fact.
Mike Williams is
you know how I know that for a fact? Because I actually met and when we were in Poland, actually with Germany, when we were in Germany, Keenan Allen came over to the troops and we got to ask him questions. And I talked to him about that injury prone stuff. To his face, I talked to him about the injury prone stuff that he was going through. And so me and him had discussions on that one-on-one. And I know he's been injury prone for much, much longer than just 1 year.
I can't lie, man. That's one of our best receivers ever. I got to stick by him. That's the only thing that makes me happy. Keenan Allen, Herbert, and then not the team itself. It's the people, it's the individuals that perform when they need to perform.
I thought Joey Bosa was your guy.
I don't know. Joey Bosa seems like an asshole in real life. It's something about them Bosa brothers. Seem like assholes. Did you see the video of him this weekend calling fans broke bastards?
No.
Yeah. Because, it was like it was Joey Bosa. He was at a Niners game. He was in Philly. I'm not gonna lie. You know how Philly got the worst fans in football. I hate to say it.
Yeah. Hey, well, they're great fans for the city, but terrible fans if you got to go play it.
So they was talking to Joey Bosa, talking stuff to him. He was like, where the charges at, this, that, and the third. And then Joey Bosa basically called him a broke B word, basically saying, I'm amounting to something that you can never do. But I understand why Joey Bosa said it. Because, Eagles fans in general, there's a few fans that are just straight asshole fan base. Cleveland.
Well, fans make it personal. You talk shit, we don't have to get personal.
In the top. Cleveland and Philly's in the top. And I guess he was just talking, but I don't know. It just seemed like the Bosa brother. It's like Nick never had a good rep. A lot of people hate Nick Bosa for some reason. I think he's an outstanding player, but I just think the Bosa.
I could care less who he is as a person. I mean, we're talking about all I need him to do is perform on the field.
Yeah, it's not like he's a Brett Favre.
Well, people don't like
Nick Bosa
as politics.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. As long as you're not Brett Favre, you're fine by me. I'm not gonna lie. At least you're not that asshole. But Aaron Rodgers is the new Brett Favre.
We'll talk one more thing. Then we'll go to the Eagles and Chiefs. Bart Scott's under fire after he said that Jalen Hurts is not a superstar.
Who said that?
Bart Scott. I agree with him. I don't think he's a superstar yet. He's had
I don't think he's been in the league long enough yet to be a superstar.
This is breakout year.
But in this respect, we talk about Burrow like he's a superstar.
No, I would use if I use the word superstar, I would be using the word budding. Like I would say he's a budding superstar.
I think he's a star, not a superstar yet.
But he's budding, right?
He's budding.
Admit, they're budding.
Look how we talk about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, I think Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts been in the same amount of time. Except for Joe Burrow did an AFC championship twice. Jalen Hurts made the Super Bowl this year. Joe Burrow made it last year. But we talk about Joe Burrow being the second best quarterback in football.
Oh, easily. I don't know, man. You know, for me,
I think Hurts is in the company.
Hey, but you got to admit. Hey, let me ask you this: when you saw Burrow, did you in this playoff series? Did it kind of make you step back a few on him a little bit?
Who, Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
We're talking about Joe Burrow right now.
There's nobody. There's not a lot of guys.
Well, I still think Joe. I mean, look, Joe Burrow's an amazing quarterback, no doubt. But did this last game? Did it kind of make you, take a couple of steps back, maybe from him a little bit? Not all the way back, but just a little bit back.
No.
Or do you still feel the same way about Burrow?
I still feel the same. Because I know he had 2 turnovers, but there was a lot of plays in that game that if he wouldn't have made, his team wouldn't even have been in the situation they were in.
I understand that.
Yeah, but real quick, Jay. Since 2016, Keenan Allen has had 3 1,100-yard season and 1,000-yard or 1,300-yard season since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
He's the truth, man.
Hey, come on.
When healthy, he's a top 10.
Listen, fanboy, calm down.
Calm down over there.
Calm down over there.
He is, dude. He's one of the best. He's up there as one of the top receivers.
Healthy, he's a top 10 receiver. But that's the question. Is like I agree with Jay when he's healthy. And
what I'm saying is,
he missed half the season this year. And
what I'm saying is, since in 2021, he had 1,138 receiving yards.
2020 make that any better.
Wait a minute. 2020, 992 receiving yards. 2019, 1,199 receiving yards. So up till 2022, since 2017, he's had 1,000 or more yards. This is the first season, or only the second season he hasn't had over 1,000 yards. The other time he had 992. So it's not like he's missed a bunch of games and hasn't put up numbers. Yeah, he's been hurt some. But he's still like putting up top receiver numbers.
4 times.
What did he put up? What did he put up last year, or what did he put up this year?
Oh, he was awful this year. He missed
752 yards.
Yeah, he missed half the season.
66 catches.
5. So he's been in the league since 2013. This is now 2022. He's had 5 seasons where he's been over 1,000. If you want to put the 992 season in 2020, I'll allow that. That was only 8 yards shy. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's had 6. So 6 out of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 6 out of 10. But again, I'm not the argument. He's saying he's always hurt. How good he is. The argument is, can he stay on the field? And there have been 4 or 5 seasons where he has not been allowed. Or he's not been able to stay on the field.
Jay, the only guy to stay on the field on y'all.
What I'm saying is most of those seasons he hasn't been on the field.
Why are you talking about my team? This is not about my team.
I'm saying Lamb's the only guy.
Hey, Jay, what I'm saying is most of those years that he was hurt were before 2016. Since 2016, he's been pretty healthy.
Oh, yeah, Jay, as a Cowboys fan, I got a question. It's a Dak thing. I was watching, how does, Noah Brown got – something on Dak, because
and it wasn't just 2016. It had to be in 2017, because in 2016 he only got 6 catches in all of.
Yeah, he was banged up on 16.
Yeah, since 2016.
No, banged up. No, he didn't even play in 16. Let's be honest, he didn't play in 16.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
And if you want to go back before that, 15 and 14.
But what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying, Jay. His injuries have all been before 2016 and before until this year.
No, but Jay said he's always had an injury problem.
2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. He had 5 years where he didn't have those injuries in a row. recently until this year.
Where's Greg at so I can just hear his voice already? Because I don't feel like hearing the Kansas City hot dogging this afternoon, but you gotta hear how much Mahomes is the GOAT. I gotta hear. I know I'm late, but I'll pick Joe Burrow over Hurts. Yeah, Joe Burrow is better than Hurts by far. Joe Burrow's the second best quarterback in football.
Frankie said, please quit calling Mahomes the GOAT, Greg.
I don't get how people call him the GOAT, but the GOAT is literally how the GOAT. The GOAT is in Tampa and beat him twice.
Yeah.
The GOAT's in Tampa and beat him twice.
Yeah.
When it mattered the most. And then it's not like, and he's talking like this is the first time they beat Joe Burrow. They're 3-1 against him.
Yep.
It's still Burrowhead. They just won this one. It's still Burrowhead.
So just so we're tracking,
Frankie said he's in free agency.
Yeah, interesting stuff, man.
It's like he's Mahomes, but my question is, if Mahomes win this second one, though, where do we rank him? Would he hit that top 10? If he gets 2 MVPs and the second Super Bowl? Is he better than Peyton, Chris?
I don't think so, not yet. But you'll have people that'll try to put him in that conversation.
I think Mahomes will hit that top 10 if he. I hate to say it, but he'll be a top 10 quarterback if he gets the MVP this year and the Super Bowl this year. And they'll be on the brink of a dynasty in Kansas City. And I'll hate it because it's in my division, but it will. We have to put some respect on. I say the Mahomes train will die down once, Travis Kelce retires, Andy Reid stop coaching because he got a good 3 or 4 more years himself. And then I think Mahomes is still going to be a great quarterback, but I think people forget that he has Andy Reid and what Andy Reid did before Mahomes. And you got arguably the best receiving tight end ever in Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce had like 15 total touchdowns in the postseason. That's a record.
He had like 12 or 13 touchdowns this season.
Yes, it's like a record. He's one of the best tight ends ever. And I think people forget that. But I think Mahomes is outstanding, though. But I think we need to pump the brakes on the new GOAT. He's the best quarterback in the league by far right now, but he's not. That GOAT conversation is only for number 12.
How's everybody doing today?
How's it going, Greg?
How you feel getting a cheap ass win?
Oh, ain't nothing cheap. Just like Travis Kelce said, Burrow had my ass.
He's 3-1 against y'all still.
We saw that.
He's 3-1 against y'all.
Mahomes finally handled the light.
You just said finally, but you said Burrow had my ass.
Look alike.
You just said Mahomes finally handled it, but Burrow had my ass.
That's right.
He's 3-1.
They was talking, so we handled it.
They were talking, but it's not like y'all beat the brakes off and they lost by 3.
No, well, we handled when they went by 3. They was having parades and all other crap. So
y'all were up by like 20-something points.
Oh well, that's past.
It's the past now.
We righted the wrong from last year.
So, Greg, if Mahomes win this second MVP and this second Super Bowl, where you put him at in your all-time list? You can't put him against a guy in Tampa and New England because he beat him twice and everybody else. So he's kind of like a football guy. You think he can crack the Peyton Manning territory?
Yes. If he gets this one and then one more, yeah, he'll be better than Peyton.
3-1. But where it matters, Patrick Mahomes. Y'all forget Joe Burrow beat him last year in the championship. They see each other all the time. We gotta stop using that narrative because at one point we used to say Brady owns Manning, then Manning start kicking Brady ass. Now y'all don't want to. Now y'all want to start saying, well, they didn't beat him in the matter most. That's bullshit. He won last year in the AFC Championship.
He won. Part of that was if we gave it to him.
So this is what? This is Patrick Mahomes. Correct me if I'm wrong, Greg. This is y'all's third Super Bowl appearance with Patrick Mahomes, correct?
Yeah, third Super Bowl like 5 years.
So if he loses this one, which is highly possible, he could, given that the strength of that Eagles defense and stuff.
Sure.
If he comes back and he goes 1 for 3,
he's John Elway.
I'm just saying. I didn't want to say that, but
he's John Elway.
I wouldn't put it like that.
What?
No, I wouldn't say.
John lost them before you won his 2.
He didn't. Well, first off, John Elway lost. He got blown out in 3 Super Bowls. Don't forget that 55-10.
You lost 3 of them.
Hey, but he does have 2 rings. Come on, give him some credit. He does.
Yeah, he won the last 2.
John Elway.
He won the last 2.
I'm saying Mahomes who's this one. He's at the John Elway category.
But what
got
Pat
more MVPs than John then.
Pat threw for 300 yards on 1.5 legs. Can we?
No. We're not using it as an excuse. No. You put
Joe Burrow didn't have 3 of his.
You're not on the injury report. Man. No. Hold on. Greg Hughes. He was not on the injury report. So as far as I'm concerned, 2 freaking legs hit that field. Okay. Now, if you want to say 1.5 of anything, you can say he's maybe half black, half white. He's not a full black man. So if you want to say 1.5, you can say the Super Bowl is going to have 1.5 black quarterbacks. You got the one on one side and the half on the other. That's about the only 1.5 you can use.
Damn it, Jay.
Well, it's true. I hear on Facebook, so we got it's the first time since 2 black. No, you got 1 black and 1 mix.
Why does it matter, though? Why can't we just say we have 2 great quarterbacks?
Yeah, we have 2 great quarterbacks.
Hey, listen, I didn't say this. That was on Facebook. I saw. I'm just quoting Facebook.
Hey,
Jay,
let me tell you something. Everything you see on Facebook is not true.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I believe everything on Facebook. They even had a graphic. They had a graphic on Facebook, okay?
Yeah, but Eagles are going to have their hands full. They've never played offense like this. They never
Hold on, Greg. You don't think you're going to have your hands full, though?
Well, our hands full, but
Greg, where's all your wide receivers right now?
A different person.
Greg, where's all your wide receivers right now? Aren't they all pretty much on the IR?
They will. They will be ready. They'll be ready.
Best wide receiver is Montez Bowden-Scantling, and you're saying,
Greg, you got a quarterback with the club foot who can barely get out of the pocket right now. You got very little wide receiver help other than Travis Kelce, who may or may not play depending on how his back feels. And then you got a secondary, which quite honestly, had Cincinnati's O-line given Burrow enough time, probably should have been exploited. Your secondary really should have been exploited because you guys are pretty thin at the secondary. Now, I will tell you, this Eagles team will not do that. Sanders is going to run the hell out of it. You got a dual threat quarterback. And you got Brown, Devontae Smith, and Goddard to deal with. And you got the defense. Look, what you're about to face, you haven't seen yet. You ain't seen the Eagles yet.
Front 7.
Wait. We can't sit here and talk like the Eagles are just the best team we've ever seen play football, man.
I think
the Chiefs win this game.
Eagles are more complete.
I think the Chiefs win this game.
I think the Eagles win.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
No. Gonzo, do you?
More complete.
I got
the Chiefs win this game.
All right, listen, I'll tell you right now. All right, let's make a deal.
That team is scary.
If the Eagles win, you got to take down all the GSR stuff and mail it to me.
Hold up. Jay, as a Cowboys fan, think the Eagles are going to win?
Hey, look, I'm not an Eagles fan, but yes, from a podcaster, unbiased standpoint, yeah, I think the Eagles are absolutely going to win. I'm not a fan of either team. I don't think it's going to be great.
The Chiefs will win.
I would say that I will tell you right now, I'm not Nostradamus, but if I was Nostradamus, I'm going to predict that after the Super Bowl, we don't see Greg or the Red Kingdom for at least 3 weeks.
Red Kingdom's gonna be fun tomorrow, by the way. But yeah, it's gonna be real fun. I got something for everybody. Tomorrow.
All I know is I'm putting an all-out points bulletin on Greg if they lose.
I just don't understand how the Eagles had one of the most complete teams in football all year. Just because we see Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs with, I understand Travis Kelce, one of the best receiving tight ends ever. Pacheco's played outstanding this year.
Yes.
Scott Moore, very inconsistent. I have nothing good ever to say about Juju Smith-Schuster. Valdez-Scantling, okay. Seen him better with Rodgers. Y'all just got Mahomes and Kelce. I'm not gonna.
Hey, I don't trust any man whose first name is Juju. First of all,
Juju he's done well this season.
And Kadarius Toney.
That was his best game of the whole season last night. It was about time. So thank you, MVS, for finally doing something. But people sleep on our secondary. Honestly, look, they got 2 picks. Brandon Cook, he made up for that mishap with Chase that ended up tying the game. He got the tip, and then Joshua Williams was able to pick it. So the Chiefs were able to get the turnovers. They were able to get the pressure and finish the sacks this season instead of letting Joe Burrow go.
Won that game because of Chris Jones. You're trying to be so technical with it. Chris Jones dominated that line, and
he did
Patrick
dominate.
Mahomes played arguably his best playoff game ever. That's why they won.
On 1.5 legs, he played one of his best.
You're saying 1.5 legs. He was still there, man. Still there.
The ankle game.
Use that 1.5 leg. Don't be that guy if Mahomes get banged up in Philly because that front seven's coming. Don't say Mahomes is on.
We got one of the best offensive lines.
That's what I'm saying. The Chiefs have a good offensive line. People forget that. People act like the
Niners.
Reed Humphrey is
The Niners have a great offensive line.
How many games did the Chiefs lose?
We not
this
San
year?
Francisco.
What'd you guys lose? 3 games, Greg? 4 games?
3.
One of them to the Bengals, one of them to who else?
Buffalo, and
the other one to the Colts.
Something happened that day with the Colts. Yes.
No, nothing happened. The Colts
Hey, answer
won.
this question, guys. Who's played the tougher schedules this season, the Chiefs or the Eagles?
The Chiefs, by
The
far.
Chiefs have played they're in the harder conference.
You gotta go against Justin Herbert twice a year. That's kind of difficult.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, you know what? Hey, you can't use that though because if you look at
the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are a good team.
Chiefs,
you can't use that though because the NFC East is a tough division. We all know they had 3 damn teams out of the NFC East in the playoffs, and you're gonna tell me that the Eagles didn't have a pretty good damn.
They also
division
played the Vikings, one of the best teams.
Yeah, but they didn't have a better schedule than the Chiefs.
No.
I'm not saying they did, but let's not act like the Eagles are just on some cakewalk or something.
They beat the brakes off the Giants, which is a playoff team.
They did.
I think the Giants and the Jaguars are very comparable to each other. And they knocked Brock Purdy out the game. It wasn't the fact Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson.
Hey, and let's not overlook, please. Let's not overlook. I'm not letting the Chiefs off that easy. Let's not overlook that crappy loss you took to the Colts, for crying out loud.
It was.
I don't even know how you hold your head up high when you lose to Jeff Saturday.
Colts always had a good.
You lost to a head coach with no experience.
Jay, for one, they didn't lose to Jeff Saturday. Frank Reich was still coaching.
Hey. If I want correct information, I'll go to Google, okay? Calm down.
Hey, Frank Reich, just to let y'all know, Frank Reich's going to do Carolina justice. Shout out to Frank.
You think so?
I think so.
It depends on if they find a quarterback.
Frank Reich going to be terrible down there, too.
He wasn't terrible in Indianapolis. He just had a quarterback. He didn't have a quarterback. Greg, you talking all this?
Who's his quarterback at Carolina?
Nobody. He still don't have a quarterback.
They can draft somebody. Somebody.
Carolina does really need to draft somebody.
Carolina got a better personnel, in my opinion.
Or bring in a free agent. You better go say they need to be talking about that.
DJ Moore's a better receiver than Pittman.
Colts have a good defense. don't know.
I said offensively. I said offense. I didn't bring up defense. And their defense is not bad either, Carolina's.
Yeah, but
Colts just got a better defense.
yeah.
Colts is a top 5 defense when healthy. I'll agree on that. Y'all offense is just pedestrian.
I don't know if I put Colts at top 5 defense, but okay.
When healthy, they're Shaq Barrett, Gilmore. They have monsters on that. I mean, Shaq Leonard. I said Barrett. My apologies. Like, they have monsters on that defense when they want to play, when they're healthy. I think Leonard was out this year.
He was out almost the whole season this year back.
I think the only guy that was consistently healthy was Gilmore, and he always had the number 1 guy. And he did a pretty good job against the number 1 receiver. It just
Gilmore played good. We have Franklin that came in to replace Leonard, played real well.
Colts.
He was up there leading league in tackles. I mean, the Colts have some good guys on defense. We got to figure out the fucking head coach and quarterback situation.
Yeah, the head coach.
And then get a damn receiver, and I think we'll be fine.
But Greg, how you feel about y'all are not the favorites to win it? It's Philly opening up.
I like it.
Better all-around team.
I think it opened up at like 1.5.
It's saying nobody. Look, we start off the season. We can't win without Tyreek Hill. Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes.
Who said that?
Herbert's better than Patrick Mahomes.
And who said
Joe
that?
Burrow
I
is
never
better
said
than Patrick Mahomes, and we defeated all of them.
If you ever heard somebody say Herbert better and it wasn't me, you should have just.
I've heard a couple people say that wasn't you.
I think Herbert is as no.
I've definitely never had Herbert better than Mahomes.
I never in my life, and I'm a Herbert guy. I love Herbert.
Yeah.
I think Herbert is as talented as Mahomes. I don't think he's better. Mahomes sees the field better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's improved. But now, don't get me wrong. Give my guy 2 or 3 years. He's gonna be
look, in 2 or 3 years, Tua may not even know where his home address is, okay? Tua over there battling CTE and concuss. That man may not even know how to find his house, okay? We talk about 2 or 3 years with Tua.
No, who the hell said Tua's better?
You said Tua.
No, he said Herbert.
No. I said Herbert and then Burrow is what people were saying.
No, I thought
Burrow is
wait, you taking my boy 2 or 3 years.
Nobody's giving 2 or 3 years.
No, ain't nobody gonna give him that. No.
Will you say give your boy Herbert 2 or 3 years? Is that what you're saying?
Herbert 2 or 3 years.
Oh, I thought you. Oh, my bad. I thought you said Tua.
I wouldn't give Tua. Don't have 2 or 3 years.
With hot on too.
I thought he had said Tua. That's why I was like,
think Dak is. No, I'm not even gonna go that far. Yeah, Dak probably. I'd rather have Dak over Tua.
No,
Herbert he just needs more guidance. But Herbert's going to be a good quarterback for a long time in the league.
He is. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. I've always said
Burrow is the closest thing to Mahomes. It can be the closest.
Well, man. Hey, honestly, for the next 10 to 15 years, the NFL is in good shape with quarterbacks because there's a plethora of really good, outstanding quarterbacks in the league.
But yeah, I don't hear a lot of people. I've never heard people. I would never say Josh Allen was better than Mahomes. I think people will probably say they have the same amount of talent, but I don't think they're better. Only person I can say is better is comparable to Mahomes at this point is Joe Burrow, and that's because he's the only guy to beat him 3 times. Most of the time they play, it's been Joe, or it's Joe Burrow gives him his best game.
I did want to point out
the best game. Yes.
Hey, I did want to point out though that Patrick Mahomes is a Texas boy, so y'all get Texas props.
He is. Yes, he is. Yeah. But yeah, we're a 2-point dog against, and that's
isn't Jalen Hurts from Texas too?
Again, I'm gonna give mad props to the state of Texas.
I think Jalen Hurts from Texas too.
But I love being the underdog. It gives us fuel.
Don't do that.
It gives us fuel.
Yes, y'all ain't no underdog now. It's like
hey, listen.
I'm just waiting on somebody to say something on the Eagles.
You go to the sports, you look at the line. The Chiefs are underdogs.
They're underdogs right now.
And you're gonna stay underdog.
And everybody is, East Coast bias.
But Chris, you gotta give them. The Eagles got the better team. The Chiefs got the better quarterback.
See, here's the deal. If you just take quality or talent of team aside, if you set that aside, and you got to admit, and Greg, I think you'll admit this, that the Eagles are so much better because of the lack of injuries. Like you guys are really battling a lot of injuries. truth be
They're
told.
complete
I
on
mean,
It's not
every.
an injury, but they got 2 weeks to get ready though.
The Eagles are legit complete on every aspect of the field.
well, you better
I'm
have
not
every
saying
masseuse known to man down there working on them chiropractors. Look, you better have physical therapists.
Lonzo, I
You better have
understand
the
you're
whole
saying the
gamut down
offense is
there.
not that. You're saying they're not like they're not like the 07 Patriots, but their offense is damn near unguardable. They can run the ball down.
Whose offense is unguardable?
Hey, and
they can go downfield. They can hit the intermediate routes. Absolutely.
Well,
There's
can
no
they
way
hold-
to cover the Eagles' offense if they are rolling.
They're unguardable. How many points
Okay.
did they score against the Cowboys when they beat the Cowboys in the playoffs?
No, they ain't beat the Cowboys. They ain't
You
played
talking
Cowboys.
about?
No, never mind. I was
wait,
thinking
which
49.
one are we talking
They
about?
put 30. They put 30.
No.
They put 30 on both of them.
Cowboys,
I'm
I gotta
Giants
check
fan.
I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was thinking of the 49ers game earlier in the
49ers, they had the better chance, I believe, of beating the Eagles because of their defense. But they
I
couldn't
think the
move
49ers
ball.
would have beat the Eagles if they wouldn't have got everybody hurt yesterday.
Well, the key is holding. Can we hold Philly to 20?
That's fine.
20 is
No.
the magic number.
I don't think so. They're going to
We
run the
were
ball
able to
down
hold
that field.
Cincy to 20. So if we can hold Philly to 20, then yeah. The Chiefs are
They're
gonna-
running the ball down your throat, Greg.
Hey,
And I'ma love
I
every
don't know
minute.
who Stat Guy's son's name is, but I hope he gets a better hairline than Stat Guy. Stat Guy, what happened to your hair, man?
I shaved it off this morning.
God. It's like looking at the guy from Full Metal Jacket. All you need is a gun and a porcelain toilet.
Son of a.
Give me a gold tooth. I'll be Joe Pesci while I'm at it.
Who you got winning the Super Bowl, Stat Guy?
If Kansas City's healthy, I'm going Kansas City.
So I got
You gotta put into everything that went into that game yesterday. You had Patrick Mahomes, who was not 100%, but up until that final run, he looked 100%. And then you have him losing Juju Smith-Schuster. He lost McCole Hardman. He lost Cardavius Toney all within the first half of that game. Still threw for 326 yards. Still threw 2 touchdowns. Still didn't turn the ball over except for the fumble that slipped out of his hand. If he gets all those weapons back, I don't know how Philadelphia is going to be able to go point for point with them.
Are those guys really weapons?
McCole Hardman is. Cole
Hardman. I love McCole Hardman. Very
And Juju Smith-Schuster was a 1,000-yard receiver this year. He was the number 2 receiver on that team behind Travis Kelce. Cardavius Toney, when he did play, made a lot of plays for the Chiefs this year.
Yep.
How Washington beat them. Washington has a very dominant. People forget.
Well, hell,
Washington
hey, listen, just go watch. Hey,
Washington run the ball.
Cowboys beat them too, though, with our defense, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like the Chiefs, and I think Tony said it best. They had the best passing offense, but Philly's got the best passing defense. So with that in mind, though, can Philly stop a team that has a really good run game, not only with the dual threat quarterback, but with Miles Sanders and the other guy, Gainwell, or whatever that guy's name is?
You got Gainwell, Boston.
Yeah,
Scott.
got Gainwell. That's what I'm saying. So when you got that
players.
run game, and then you got the passing game to boot on top of it, you don't know how to play this thing.
You guys act like they just didn't slow down a Bengals offense. That's one of the top offenses in the league yesterday.
Joe Burrow didn't have 3 of his linemen.
Again, again, the
Tyler
difference here is
Boyd
the
was out.
offensive line. Yeah, you got to look at that offensive line. Philly has
Okay,
a much better
last week
offensive
we were
line.
praising those
Yeah,
guys.
there's no well
Last
done
week we
guys.
were praising those guys because of how good they played against Buffalo, and then but now we want to use that as an excuse. Now, come on,
I'm not using an excuse.
What, are you trying to say that we lack consistency? Gonzo, are you saying that we lack consistency? Is that your argument?
No,
What I'm
guys.
saying is you can't use yesterday. They had 3 of their offensive linemen out. We didn't
No,
use that excuse.
I'm saying period.
no,
I'm saying period that
that
Philadelphia's
case
offensive line is much better.
What I'm saying is the
Even
Bengals
with
Jay,
offensive
Jay,
line.
you're
The
right.
Eagles
When you
offense
say
to me is just
Philadelphia,
as good as the Eagles offense, and the Chiefs just held them to 20 points. So I don't
Yeah,
think
you're-
the Eagles offense is just going to go in there and
I
blow
think
out the
that
Chiefs
Eagles
defense.
front line is better than that Chiefs front line.
Hey, look, let me ask you this. You agree that the 49ers had a pretty good run defense too, right? And yet, did you see what Miles Sanders did to them?
Did
You see what Miles Sanders did to the 49ers defense?
Jay, you got to look at this though.
In the fourth quarter, after defense was tired because they were on
Yeah.
the field the whole damn
You
game.
got to look at
Hey,
this.
whose fault is that? Whose problem is that?
Eagles didn't
Whose
run the
fault
ball
is
worth the
Hey,
fuck,
listen,
man.
Maybe they should have had oxygen tubes.
He had 28 points by halftime.
Maybe they should have substituted.
But they weren't running the ball. It wasn't like they were just running all over.
And you got to look at this too. You got to look at this too, though. How many yards of offense did the Eagles have yesterday? The Eagles did not even have 270 yards of offense yesterday.
Yeah, they got.
It's not like they destroyed San Francisco. It's not like they destroyed San Francisco. Philadelphia did not even have 300 yards of offense. It's the fact that when Brock Purdy got hurt, Philadelphia knew that San Francisco could not pass the ball. So all they had to do was put 9 guys in the box, and San Francisco was screwed.
All right. I got the end-all, be-all here. Let me ask you this. Could you please raise your hand if you have the Philadelphia, or if you have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the Eagles? Please raise your hand. Okay. I need each and every one of you to sign an agreement that I'm going to email to you that says if they lose, you're going to pay Jason McMahon $45. Now, let's see. Hey, who wants to take that bet? Please raise your hand if you'll take that bet.
I would take it, but I don't have the money.
I am not a betting man, so but
listen, you don't have to have the money. Johnny Two Thumbs will pay you a visit. We'll look at whatever it is you have there, and we'll take it in collateral. Not a big deal.
I understand why you guys got.
Here, Jay, I'll go double or nothing.
I love Stat Guy.
I'll go double. I will go double or nothing.
So you're Anthony Price race.
I will go. Let's just make it a nice round 100.
A nice Stat Guy. You're putting $100 on it.
I'll go a nice round 100 that Kansas City beats Philadelphia.
There you go.
Okay, I got. Look, that's above my betting minimum. I'm not saying no to that bet. By the way, no, I'm not saying no to that bet. I'll put it in a chat group. But I do got to go to the financial advisor, which is AKA my wife. And if I can get a loan increase, I'll make that bet.
Well, what people have to understand about this Chiefs defensive line, how it's different from last year.
They can actually stop the run.
They can stop the run. That's one difference.
By the way, if you don't make good on your bet, and if you lose, I will send Johnny Two Thumbs to your house. And I don't care if you have kids or not. We're going to break your thumbs right in front of them. I don't care.
Frank Clark, he's starting to come on as far as a rushing the passer. George Karlaftis, what a great draft pick. He's been coming on the last month.
Yeah.
And one player that nobody talks about, which they should be talking about now, is Trent McDuffie. Who held Jamar Chase to 75 yards receiving, but 40 of them came on that one play in the fourth quarter. Outside of that, Jamar Chase couldn't do anything on McDuffie.
McDuffie is very solid. He came from Washington, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he was very solid, very solid. I like Trent McDuffie.
You know who always I see struggling a lot is Eli Apple for the Bengals. That guy always is struggling, man.
He's a bum. Eli Apple's a bum.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Because that's exactly the way I feel about him. Because I've watched him.
He talks a lot.
Yeah, he talks a lot, but he can't back it up.
The only reason he started because Owuzie got hurt.
Right.
That's right.
Hey, where did Owuzie play before he went there? Oh, Cowboys. Cowboys should have kept Owuzie.
And another thing with the Chiefs too, which a lot of people forget to realize, is Patrick Mahomes had an entirely new offense this year. Outside of Travis Kelce, he had none of his receivers back from last year. His starting running back from last year, Edwards-Helaire, was out basically since week 2, and yet he has the best season he's ever had since his MVP year. And he was not healthy yesterday. So if somebody in the AFC cannot beat Patrick Mahomes when he's not healthy, cannot beat Patrick Mahomes when they still have an offense in progress with all the new pieces that came in, how does somebody plan to beat that team next year when all these pieces come back?
Hold on, stat guy. There's this guy up in Cincinnati that's beaten him 3 times already.
Yeah,
no. Say it again one more time, Deontay, but say it with your chest. Can you say it with your chest one more time?
There's this guy in Cincinnati that wears number 9 by the name of Joe Burrow coming out of LSU that's beaten Mahomes 3 times.
Regular season is one thing. Postseason is a different thing.
He beat him in the AFC Championship last year.
Last year, not this year. And Cincinnati should have beaten them this year.
That's still part of it. That's still part of it.
Cincinnati should have beaten them this year.
Wait, I think it was. I want to say it was Travis Kelce there, or it was one of the Chiefs players that they interviewed that said, "Hey, how do you feel about the rivalry between you and them?" And he said, "What rivalry? We have to win first before there's a rivalry." Greg, you know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, Chris Jones said that. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and I knew I had the wrong guy's name, but you know what I'm talking about. And so now there is a legitimate rivalry between the two of them because they have been beaten. But let's not make no mistake about it. Even Kansas City Chiefs are saying there was not a rivalry until we won this game.
Cincinnati is I'm a Chargers guy. I love the Chargers, but the only team that's comparable of the Kansas City at this moment is Cincinnati.
And that's why the Chiefs drafted the corners that they drafted
that's why they drafted George.
They had to shut down Chase, and they knew they had to shut down Higgins.
I ain't gonna lie. They were still getting the 50-50 ball, but y'all played out.
I mean, it's nothing you can do.
Hey, but I will say this, and I'm going to go on record as saying this. And Philly sports guy, if you're out there and you're watching this show right now, I want you to know, Pags, his name is a Pag. Pags, if you're watching this, I want you to know, man, look, I got nothing but love for you. And I love it every time you come on unscripted, man. But again, Philly sports guy is an incredible annoyance with Philly sports. So just because of that reason alone, I do, Greg, I'm going to endorse you this time. I do kind of want the Chiefs to win because if the Chiefs win, I don't got to listen on my Facebook feed every 5 seconds with Pags on there. And I don't know, if you don't know who Pags or Philly sports guy is, raise your hand. I mean, the guy is all over the damn place. I mean, literally, like everywhere you look. So for that reason alone, Greg, I do want you to know I hope you do win. I'll be pulling for you. I'll be pulling for you. So keep that in mind too. So when I say that I still feel like the Eagles are the better team, I'm not trying to be biased or anything like that. I do kind of still feel that way, but at the same time, I'm going to speak out the other side of my mouth, and I'm going to say I really do hope you win.
No, Greg, I ain't going to lie, bro. I hope y'all lose.
Of course. If the
Chargers, it's not because the fact is
I would hope the Chargers would lose too.
It's not a fact. It gets to it's these other Chief fucking fanboys.
Hey, but you know what though? Hey, Greg, I do have a question, a serious question. Now, I know. Look, my ex-mother-in-law, lived in Kansas City. She lived on the Kansas side though of Kansas City. Yeah. But how does it feel to know that you share your team with another state? That you're not really truly all in Kansas. Are you on by the way, are you on the Kansas side or are you on the Missouri side?
Missouri. I'm on the Missouri side.
So how does that feel to know that you share it with Kansas?
They can have some part of it, but they can't come to the parade.
Let's be honest. But let's be honest though. It is. Hey, Kansas is in there. It's not like we're saying Missouri City Chiefs. We're saying Kansas City Chiefs.
It's Kansas City. Yeah.
But do you ever get that? Like being a Kansas City Chiefs, you're on the Missouri side of it. Do you ever get the Kansas people saying, "Well, it's really our city"? And
yeah, it's just that. I mean, with them, they play their games here in the Missouri side, so of course we're going to claim them. They were trying to do some with the new stadium out in Kansas. I was like, y'all better not in hell go over there. Y'all better not go over there. But to answer Anthony's question, Snead is under the concussion protocols.
Who the hell cares?
We don't know. He's the best slot corner in football. Sorry.
Slot corner?
Yes, he's the best slot corner in football.
I don't give a damn about the slot.
Anthony also goes on to bring up the salary cap. How much of a bump is there in the salary cap?
I don't know.
Was it because I did not see anything like that?
I know my guys.
I haven't seen anything about the salary cap jump.
I know my guy's getting his extension this year, so
I just wonder how much they're going to move the salary cap needle.
Probably like it.
Oh, CJ Stroud?
I don't give a damn.
That's
bolt up. Unless it's Kansas City, it's bolt up. I feel like we're better than everybody else.
But what if Tom Brady goes to the Raiders for 1 year or 2 years to be back with Josh McDaniels?
I would love to beat him.
Hey, stat guy,
that's
how
what's
do you
gonna
not
happen.
know what
Send him on
the
his
salary
way
cap
out.
stuff is?
Greg, don't play
What
that.
was
I don't want to play that guy.
Hey, how much do they jump up the salary cap in the NFL?
About $208 million to around 227, 228.
Damn.
Oh, that's
Okay.
a hefty jump. Yeah.
I'm about to say that's a pretty good jump.
It's about 21 million.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my guy's gonna be a 250 guaranteed type of quarterback. So
Wait till the
Wait,
salary
I gotta-
comes. Wait till 2025, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The NFL is talking about removing the salary cap altogether and going with a baseball approach where they don't care how much they spend.
Shit.
Wow.
Hey, listen, if that happens, hey, all
I hope
hell's
they
gonna
don't do
break
that.
loose. All hell's gonna break loose if that happens.
True.
Greg, why would you love that? No, I want to go to KC.
Hey, but let me ask you this. I'm glad you're on the show today because I know you probably have a lot of good information on this. But and I know me and Gonzo had talked about it last night on the show with Aaron Rodgers now, or with Green Bay looking at possibly moving on from Aaron Rodgers. It seems like it's even coming out more. I think Aaron Rodgers is even believing that they're going to move on.
Packers are done with him.
Jordan Love. Is that going to happen?
Packers are done with Aaron Rodgers. I've had this on pretty much the last 48 hours in Wisconsin since I live out here. Packers are not done with Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay him the $53 million he wants, or that he's supposed to get paid, I should say. They know he's not going to restructure his contract. Rodgers knows he's not gonna...
But did Aaron Rodgers come out and say that he was willing to restructure?
He can say that all he wants, but the reality is the Packers know he's not going to do it.
I don't think he'll do it for the Packers. I think
the Packers know he's not going to do it because of all the crap that he's put the Packers through the last couple of years. All the talk about him not being happy that the Packers didn't give him enough weapons a few years ago when he felt that he had the team to win the Super Bowl, and they took Jordan Love in the first round as opposed to trying to get Justin Jefferson or some of these other wide receivers in the first round. So they pretty much know that if he restructures his contract, it's not going to be with Green Bay. And I think Rodgers understands that. I think the Packers understand that. So they're willing to move on from him. And all the talk is that he's going to the New York Jets. And I wonder why he's going to the New York Jets.
Oh, we know the answer to that.
Who did the Jets just hire as the offensive coordinator?
The
same guy that went to Denver saying, if you bring me on as your head coach, I'll be able to get Aaron Rodgers to come to Denver.
The real question is who or is what are they going to command? Are they going to ask for draft picks?
Oh, the Jets have already said they will be willing to give the Packers whatever they want for Aaron Rodgers. And if that's the case, I think I'm going to ask for Mike White and 2 first-round picks. The initial proposal that they sent through, or like the mock trade proposal that they sent through, was the Jets would get Aaron Rodgers, the Packers would get the Jets' first-round pick this year, the Jets' first-round pick next year, 2 additional draft picks this year, plus Corey Davis.
That's actually good. That's actually a big.
It is good, but I think I'd rather have Mike White because I think Mike White would give them a competitive quarterback.
Actually,
unless you really just believe in Jordan Love.
Because the Packers could take a quarterback then with the Jets' first-round pick this year, which is, I think, 17th or 18th, or they could take a quarterback with the 41st pick in the second round.
True. That's
like a guy like Hendon Hooker, who's got the torn ACL. They could take a chance on Hendon Hooker, sit him that year behind Jordan Love and let that ACL heal, and then go into camp next year with Jordan Love in his 5th-year option and Hendon Hooker, and just have those two battles.
That's a good point too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Even with that, Aaron Rodgers, if he goes to the Jets, he's definitely not going to see the Super Bowl now because now you're going to the AFC.
Well, that's true. That's a good point as well. That's a good point. And I think if I'm the Jets, why would if I'm going to bring over Aaron Rodgers, why am I giving away my best wide receiver threat? Because
Garrett Wilson's the Jets.
That's what he wants.
No, Garrett
Wilson's the Jets' best wide receiver. They can afford to get rid of Corey Davis because Corey Davis is a free agent in 2024. He's only got.
Well, I should say one of the best. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about Garrett Wilson, but
he's only got 1 year left on his contract. So getting rid of Corey Davis isn't going to.
I think to Greg's point, look, the Jets have just as many offensive line issues as the damn Cincinnati Bengals do right now.
You know
what I'm saying?
The reason he would go to the Jets is because the Jets have a defense. Something that
they have a defense, and if Breece Hall comes back,
something that he's never really had in Green Bay consistently has been a defense, and the Jets have that defense. But you look at what's going on in Buffalo right now after how they lost to Cincinnati, and you saw how upset Stephon Diggs was. Things are not so rosy in Buffalo right now.
In Miami,
of course not.
You send Aaron Rodgers to the Jets. That AFC East is now a wide open division for the Jets to take.
And also
Yeah,
Miami,
I can understand that.
and everything.
And without knowing what Tua's health is going to be in the future, and if Tua is going to be the long-term answer in Miami,
New York can make a run.
New York can be the team to beat in the AFC East for the next 2 or 3 years while Rodgers is still under contract.
And honestly, if you could win that division, there's a possibility you could win that conference.
Yeah, because if you can go 6-0 in the AFC East, depending on what your other side of the schedule is, the Jets could go 14-3 and bank that number 1 seed with Aaron Rodgers.
And you got to go.
Yeah, okay, so what if you had to put a percentage on that? What percentage would you put on there that trade actually happens?
65.
I'll say 60, but
I say 65. I say 65, 70, depending on how the first couple of weeks of free agency goes.
And let me ask you a second question. Do you see a resemblance of how ironic it is that Brett Favre went to the Jets and now Aaron Rodgers is going to go to the Jets? I'm not trying to say that Aaron Rodgers is quote unquote copycatting Brett Favre.
No.
But I would say this: any team, or when Aaron Rodgers does retire, any city that he goes to, please make sure that he does not take money from the welfare and give it to a university. And I don't know where he graduated from, but wherever he graduated from, y'all be watching out, because it seems to be that he's copycatting Brett Favre.
There is a lot of resemblance to it, but the difference is the Packers sent Brett Favre to the Jets to fail. Just because the Jets were such a mediocre franchise when Brett Favre got there that they sent him there knowing that he goes there, he's not going to make the playoffs, and he single-handedly almost put the Jets in the playoffs that year despite his bicep almost falling off in week 17. This is more of he
went to Minnesota after the Jets.
Yeah, and basically had the best season he had in about 5 or 6 years after going to Minnesota the next year. So I think the Packers were like, okay, we kind of screwed ourselves by making that move. But this year, it's more of a happy divorce where I think both sides are aware that the numbers just aren't there to keep Rodgers there. They're not going to be able to do enough to get his contract to a certain number that he likes it to be. Packers aren't going to be able to get that contract down enough where they can bring more pieces around him. So I think now it's more of a, where do you want to go, Aaron Rodgers, so that we can not only help ourselves, but where we can put you to at least being on a competitive team. And with Nathaniel Hackett being the offensive coordinator, a guy that Aaron Rodgers has endorsed for like the last 3-4 years, it just seems like that's where he wants to go because he has that comfort level with Nathaniel Hackett. So the Packers will do what they need to do to make that happen.
And where does what does Jordan Love look like succeeding Aaron Rodgers? Will he have success, or do you think that he will just be a gap filler until, like you said, they hire somebody or bring somebody in?
He'll have 2 years because next year will be the 4th year of his rookie deal, which is the final year of his rookie contract. And then they always have that 5th year option that the first rounders have tied to him. So the Packers will give him 2 years. They'll see what he looks like next year with the team that they have put in place. And if they miss the playoffs or if they make the playoffs and they're like one and done, they'll try to bring him back on that 5th year and then design a team around his strengths and go from there. If he does well in those 2 years, I could see them giving him a 3 or a 4 year extension. If he doesn't do well in those 2 years, I could see them moving on from him and starting scratch. But he'll be a short-term fill-in for now with the possibility of being a longer-term fill-in based on how he does in the next 2 years.
Hey, last question is Anthony Price asked Stat Guy, how much of a cap hit will that be for the Pack?
$60 million.
That's a lot of damn cabbage.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of cabbage.
But even if Aaron Rodgers, they get, he goes to the Jets.
It's a $60 million hit, or to keep him on the team for 2 more years, it's $110 million they owe him. So you get rid of him. Yes, it's a lot of cap hit up front, but it's still less than the $110 million you owe him the next 2 years.
That's right. Even if he goes to the Jets, they'll be the number 1 seed. We all know how the story goes. He'll end up losing to Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So
absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
Wherever he goes to the Jets or whatever, it's not going to affect the AFC in terms of, like you said, of who's at the top.
The other move that I could see happening, that I don't want to happen, but the other move that I could see happening is the Packers trade Rodgers to the Raiders to reunite him with Devontae Adams. The Packers get Derek Carr back in return. And Derek Carr's got 3 years left on that
Honestly,
contract extension.
I'd rather see Rodgers and Brady twice a year, so I ain't tripping.
But that's the other move that I could see happening, where the Packers are like, "Here, we'll give you Aaron Rodgers."
I mean, but you know what though? Hey, but Rodgers going to the Raiders would be a better fit than Tom, and I say that only because of the age. You know, Tom's at what? Tom's pushing 46. Aaron's at 39, pushing 40. It would behoove the Raiders to go Rodgers because of how much more time. But again, how long do you think Rodgers can play in the NFL? He's 39 years old.
I got 3 or 4. I can see Rodgers 3 or 4 more years.
You think Rodgers has 3 or 4 more and then he's done?
3 or 4 more years with a good offensive line.
Yeah.
If he does not have a good offensive line, maybe 1, 2.
I think he's gonna have a temper tantrum if the season doesn't go successful how he wants it in the team he's with next year or with the Packers. He's liable to retire next year. He's liable to retire this year. Honestly.
I mean, hell, he's liable to retire right now because what they ask Aaron Rodgers all these questions, and Aaron Rodgers is like, hell, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Much less, I don't care what Green Bay's talking about. I don't even know what I'm gonna do yet. So
the Packers have already made it clear that they're not going to bring Alan Lazard back, who was his most trusted wide receiver last year.
Oh wow,
They've
already let Lazard go.
Well, yeah, Lazard's a free agent.
Oh, okay.
They've already made it clear that they're not going to bring him back because he's going to be wanting $8 to $9 million a year. They've already made it clear that they are planning on cutting Aaron Jones to go with AJ Dillon, another big player that Rodgers is leaning
Aaron Jones, that's what we'll like.
So it almost sounds like when they let go of if they let go of Rodgers, that they're going to pretty much go into rebuild mode because they're letting all these people go. I mean,
because they're $61 million over the cap right now.
No, I get it. Yeah, listen, that was their own damn fault.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no physical way.
The NFC North caught up to him.
There's no physical way how
that's true. The North did catch up to him. You're right.
The Lions caught up to him. The Bears are catching up now, and the Vikings are better.
Like,
I mean, let's be honest. Hey, look, I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers doesn't deserve, to be paid well, but what they paid him and how much they paid him is at his age is what I'm saying. That right at his age was a lot more money than I would have paid for a guy at his age.
Especially when you gave Aaron Jones the extension you gave him, when you gave Bakhtiari the extension you gave him, when you knew Devontae Adams wanted the extension and you didn't get it done when you should have got it done, you kind of shot yourself in the foot.
And stat guy, and how dumb is Aaron Rodgers? He wants all this money, but he had to know. Okay, as they pay me this $50 million a year, I know look, I'm Aaron Rodgers. I know the cap situation for Green Bay because this is my team. I know that if I signed this deal, they had to know that Devontae was gone, or he had to know that Devontae was gone. So what the hell was Aaron Rodgers thinking?
And that's what I said and that's what I was saying last year. Like, when the Packers extended Rodgers when they did, it was the dumbest thing they could have done because Rodgers still had 1 more year left on his contract before they had to worry about that extension.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers had to think, okay, yeah, I want to get paid, but if I get paid $50 million, I'm basically screwing myself out of a championship because they don't have the money to pay these other guys that it also takes to compete for this championship. So,
and they should have.
I'll get the money, but I'm not going to get the ring. He had to know that.
They should have focused on Devontae Adams last year. That's the extension they should have worried about last year since he was the one that was up last year. They should have got him locked up last year, and then once they knew what the new salary cap number was going to be for this year, then they could have been like, okay, Rodgers, this is what we physically can give you right now before we restructure these contracts. Are you good with signing this extension for cheaper than what you would normally get? Signing your extension now for cheaper this year, and then we can restructure some guys, and then we can give you more money the next 2 years.
Or even still, why could they just sign Devontae and put Aaron Rodgers on the franchise tag to give them more time to talk to him about what they can or cannot pay him?
Because Aaron Rodgers is all about the money, even if he says he's not.
I know, man. That's why I look, as much as I hate Brady, but I will say this about the man. Besides being the GOAT, right? That, he really gives a shit about winning, like more so than what anybody other quarterback, because, he could have got paid Just like Aaron Rodgers got paid. He could have got paid that kind of money, but he wasn't doing that. Matter of fact, not only was he not trying to get the extra money, he said they're taking pay cuts so that they can build the team around him. And that's what I love about Aaron Rodgers is that fact that it wasn't always about the money, that it was more about the team. And I feel like with Aaron Rodgers, it's all about the money and not so much about the team.
Yeah, Tom Brady hasn't made more than $15 million in 6 years.
Yeah,
because he
but
knows.
He don't have to, dude. He's got so much damn money in endorsements. What does he care? And that's what I'm saying. Aaron Rodgers has money via endorsements. Come on.
But you realize Tom Brady's loves to win.
I think Aaron Rodgers could end up in San Francisco.
Oh, but Stat Guy and Greg, I like to ask
Really?
question. That's a good one. But Pat Mahomes, if he wins his second MVP with his second Super Bowl trophy, where does that place him in the GOAT conversation, the all-time conversation?
Ooh, because now we're kind of getting into that territory.
If you're looking at it right now, he's already a top 10 quarterback all time right now. Based on what he's done the first 6 years and the numbers that he's put up the first 6 years.
I think skill-wise he is.
He's already a top 10 quarterback all time for what he's done through 6 years.
Hey,
now,
Greg.
Hey,
hold on. Hey, Greg, you want to see some crazy shit? Hey, watch this. Hey, do you want to see some crazy shit?
Yeah.
All right, watch this, man. Patrick Mahomes is in the top 5 all time.
I was about to say he is. If Kansas City,
watch this, Greg. I'm gonna say it again. Watch this.
Okay.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes is in top 5 all time.
You said he is or isn't? Because you said it too fast.
That's actually an inside joke between me and Deontay and Chris. But yeah,
if Kansas City turns in to be the next New England Patriots, which I really think they're going to be the next New England Patriots, where it's pretty much.
I'm surprised you didn't get out of your chair, man. I expected more out of you.
I appreciate it. Jay. He is top.
I don't think they're going to be the next New England Patriots.
I think they're going to be the next New England Patriots, where it's AFC Championship or Super Bowl.
Hey, Greg, I made the buffoonery comment one time of saying that Aaron Rodgers wasn't top 10 all time. And I swear to God, number one, Chris almost had a stroke. Was reaching for his medication as he tripped over his freaking cane and got out of the chair. And Deontay's over there saying, fucking white people, man.
Oh, because when you said Aaron Rodgers is not top 10?
Yeah, I remember when Jay said that a couple weeks ago.
I was like,
No, Deontay. It is fair
I think
for me
Pat
to
Mahomes
do.
cracked the top 10. I don't think he'll be a.
I got to admit, I went back. No, hey, look, I actually did go back and research the numbers, the stats, and all the things that Aaron Rodgers and all the accolades. And I do got to put him at 8. I would say out of the top 10 all time, I would put Aaron Rodgers at around number 8.
All right, that's respectable. But
I had to apologize to you, Deontay. I already apologized to Gonzo. I had to apologize to you for making that big fuss and wasting countless minutes of our time.
Like Freddie. Me and Freddie had an hour debate on how Matthew Stafford is not better than Aaron Rodgers. And I just came to a point. I think you just.
I don't. But you know what? I will say this, and I'm not. By the way, I'm not endorsing Freddie. I will say this. I wonder, and my mind wanders, how much better could Matthew Stafford have been had he been on better teams and not necessarily stuck in Detroit?
No, he still would have been the same guy. I thought about it.
Now I will say, right with the second Super Bowl championship, Patrick Mahomes, you can put him third behind Montana and Brady.
Excuse me, he's better than Manning?
Yeah. How many times did Peyton Manning get bounced in the first round? Did y'all forget or what? Or y'all don't have DVR and can go back? Because he lost a lot of times in the first round.
Bro. This is you.
That's a lot of times in the first round.
That's your guy.
And so, Chris, I'm not trying to talk bad. I'm just saying. Peyton Manning is Peyton Manning, but he lost.
All right. Hey, I got a question. I just got a poll. This is not a question.
Using that, Troy should be in it because Troy won 4.
Hold on. Hey, I got a poll. I want to ask a poll. Based on what he said, I got a poll.
Oh, yeah. Hold on, Jay. Back to what Greg just said. Peyton Manning made the playoffs.
That was before you. How are you going to tell me? Hold on.
Because I was looking something up to go off of Greg's point.
Listen, I will cancel you. I will cancel culture your ass, okay? I will cancel culture your ass. You hold on. I'm going to do a quick poll, and then I'll be quiet for the next 10 minutes. No, I don't know about 10, but at least 6. Hey, real quick, man. Hey, so when it comes to like he's saying, he said Cowboys winning the Super Bowl the next 5 years. Do you think is it possible that the Cowboys could win the next 5? And I'm not saying they will, but who's your
show to take a poll about the fucking Cowboys? Really?
No, they're not winning no Super Bowl. They won't win a Super Bowl the next 5 years.
Hey, we're getting a new offensive coordinator. Shut your mouth.
I'm gonna say no.
Go ahead, stat guy. I apologize. I'll be quiet now. Go ahead, stat guy.
Peyton Manning made the playoffs 15 times in his 18 years, but he only made it out of the first round 6 times. So 9 of the 15 times he was eliminated in the first round. Which I mean, yes, Peyton Manning is arguably one of the top 3 quarterbacks all time. But most of that was regular season success. He did not have very much postseason success. And that's kind of why when it comes to when you start talking about the greatest quarterbacks of all time, Peyton Manning's legacy takes a hit because of his playoff success. And that's why guys like Joe Montana, that's why guys like I would even put Ben Roethlisberger not for regular season success, but if you go based off of playoff success,
he was a problem.
If you go based off Ben Roethlisberger is a better playoff quarterback than what Peyton Manning was.
Absolutely. His brother's a better playoff quarterback.
Joe Flacco was a better playoff quarterback than what Peyton Manning was.
Joe Flacco's the top 5 quarterback.
He won
playoff quarterback ever.
Joe Flacco has the most road wins in playoff history as a starting quarterback. 9 of his 11 playoff wins have come on the road.
Hey, real quick, can you talk about that trade real quick? I just seen in your comments. That's actually pretty notable. About the Raiders and the Bears?
Yeah. And there's another key to it that they're not talking about yet because it's more in the Raiders' hands than the Bears' hands.
So the Raiders are trying to you think they do move up or possibly move up to the number 1 pick to take CJ Stroud?
Yeah. The Bears are trying to get the Raiders to franchise tag Josh Jacobs. So the Bears can add Josh Jacobs into that trade, and then they can extend Josh Jacobs.
Because I honestly think if they brought in C.J. Stroud,
if you look at Joe Flacco,
they brought in C.J. Stroud and then brought in like a Tom Brady, C.J. Stroud could pick the brain of arguably the GOAT behind that. And how much could Tom Brady add to C.J. Stroud's development from college to the NFL?
A lot.
Exactly. That would be probably the best marriage made in heaven because you got a CJ Stroud that's mobile, but yet also can pass. And then you throw in the GOAT on top of that to basically mentor him. And I think Tom would because Tom knows that his time in the NFL is almost over. I think he does mentor CJ Stroud, and that could be huge dividends for the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think when it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes is going to be in that top 5 conversation.
I think he's going all said and done.
Just because you have to look at the playoff success that he's already had through 6 years. He's got more playoff success through 6 years than a lot of quarterbacks have their entire career.
Yeah.
A lot of that has to do with Andy Reid. A lot of that has to do with the system that they have in place. But let's just say Andy Reid coaches 4 more years and Patrick Mahomes gets to 4 more AFC championship games, or at least 3, maybe another Super Bowl. You're looking at another.
Oh, man. Hey, and by the way, Frankie C says, I'm not supposed to believe stat guy. Remember, this is the same guy that picked the Blue Jays last year to win the World Series. There is some credibility there in stat guy. You lost. You did lose a little bit of points making that prediction.
Well, you got to remember why I picked the Blue Jays, though, because that was a team that I picked from the beginning of the year, and I'm not going to back
That's not my problem. Hey, look, who you pick is not my problem. I'm just telling you that's who you pick.
I get that, but my pick to win my pick to win the Super Bowl from the beginning of the year was Kansas City, and I haven't backed off of that either, and I'm not going to.
Yeah, you know what that means? That means you're freaking horrible.
Stat guy is a smart man. Stat guy is a smart man.
I'll say
yes,
when it's all said and done, he'll crack that top 5. But
if he wins 2 more Super Bowls in the next probably 13 years of his playing career, 12
He can
maybe,
do
if he
it
wins
three.
2 more Super Bowls. He's going to be a top 3 quarterback all time because
He
he's
can
probably
do it
going to
three.
have the
You'll never
passing
be better
yardage.
than Tom.
He's probably going to have every record broken besides what Tom Brady has done because he's not going to play as long as Tom Brady.
No, I don't think there's no quarterback.
No, I don't think anybody's going to play as
in the
long
next
as Tom
30 to
Brady,
40
for
years.
crying out
he's
loud.
gonna be ever as
Break
good
his
as Tom.
passing yards.
The only one that he might get Tom Brady on is passing yardage because he throws for so many more yards a year than what Tom Brady usually throws.
Yeah, he doesn't throw as many touchdowns.
He throws like Tom Brady. I don't think has ever had a 5,000-yard passing season, and if he did, it was maybe one time.
In
Patrick
2011.
Patrick Mahomes averages 4,800 yards passing a year.
Yeah,
Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think with the advancement in medicine and in technology and the way that we're able to take care of these athletes now versus back in the day, I think we're starting to see more and more of a trend where these players are playing, into their late 30s or early 40s, versus last time, 30s probably would have been it for you. Do you think eventually we're going to start seeing more and more of that trend where players are playing into their late 30s, early 40s? Is it more of a commonplace with advancement?
I think depending on the position.
Definitely.
It depends on what position, I think. Definitely at quarterback because all the rules they put in place to protect the quarterback as well.
Unless you're Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, he's not gonna make it.
Man,
He's not going to make it to 30.
But I look at like the offensive linemen, take for example Bruce Matthews. Bruce Matthews played seemingly forever. I mean, literally forever. And then you look at the other guy, and you got, I think it's Wentworth or something like that played for the Rams that just retired at like 41.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Whitworth.
Yeah, Whitworth. Okay. I mean, it seems to me like, these guys are playing longer and longer, at even high demanding positions. I mean, the offensive lineman is a pretty rough position to play because
have offensive linemen always
down.
played a long time, though? They always play like the 13, 14 years.
Yeah.
I believe like certain positions, I believe like the wide receiver position, I believe that's like 12 years, running backs 11, 12 years. I think the quarterback position,
but do you have that because of basically it's speed? Because at those positions, as you get older, your speed wears out?
I think those positions are on specific athleticism, and a lot of positions that use their athleticism, I believe they're going to go out because one, you're getting hit all the time, and two, your athleticism ain't always going to be. That's why I think you could play quarterback for a long time because even though all your athleticism could be a little bit gone, you can still be meticulous, smart, and know how to read coverages, read stuff, and manipulate the defense.
Right, because you don't have to throw downfield 100 yards every time.
Now,
look at Tom Brady mastered the 5 to 10 yard range. And I think even like you said, your late 40s, you can still do a 10 or 15 yard pass with no problem. But the hard things to get are the intangibles, which is the game mental.
The elite quarterbacks, I believe, will play in their 20s. Like, they'll play in their 40s. I believe the elite quarterbacks play in their 40s. I believe, like, average and above average. I see there'll be more Tom Brady. There'll be more Ryan Fitzpatricks than Tom Brady's, in my opinion. Played that long. But I don't think nobody's playing in that high of a level as Tom has played his whole career.
Yeah, of course a punter's going to last 30 damn years. They only got to go out there once every blue moon and kick a damn ball.
Different.
Yeah, punter and a kicker.
I think field goal kickers last a long time just because all you got to do is have a leg.
As long
as that leg is good, you're good.
Don't you dare bring up Morton Anderson or Gary Anderson.
Hey, those dudes played forever. I think they were kicking field goals back when Moses roamed the earth.
Morton is a Hall of Fame kicker.
I don't care. Gary Anderson went to 1998 going 49 of 49 in fucking kicks and then misses a 31.
Hey, you use the F word when we're just talking kickers. Save the F word for when we're talking quarterbacks.
Gary Anderson can kiss
we shall have Kellen Moore as your offensive coordinator.
Gary Anderson.
Use the F word when we're talking about punters for crying out loud.
And guess what, stat guy? 27 points. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Gary Anderson, I'm thinking Minnesota's 15-1 team. All you need to do is make a damn 31-yard field goal, and you missed it. And you didn't miss it. You freaking shanked it 800 yards to the left.
Hey, laces out, Dan.
It was laces out.
Hey,
it was an absolutely shank job by a 43-year-old who went 2 years without missing a freaking kick.
But Jay, I got a Cowboys question. looking at this year and Dak Prescott,
Yeah.
you think Dak Prescott is just a Tony Romo?
He's not even as good as Tony Romo.
Or you think Tony Romo was better?
You know, here's the deal with it, right? I don't even know if it's which one is better. It's just which one who fucked up the least. I mean, look, no, seriously, because and this is just look. I'm just keeping it real. I mean, all Tony Romo had to do was hold the damn football, put the laces out, and kick the damn field goal, and you're in the AF or you're in the NFC showdown going for the Super Bowl. And I mean, how many times have we seen Tony Romo make mistakes? Look. Is anyone better than the other? I don't think so. Because neither one of those sons of bitches, hold on, neither one of those sons of bitches could get past the first fucking round, okay? So is one better than the other? No. The only difference between Tony Romo, and this is true, the only difference between Tony Romo and Dak Prescott is skin tone. The rest of it's the same.
Oh, so you think they're the same?
And that's just a fact, right?
I think they're the same. I think this year proves that they're the same player.
They're the same.
Hey,
exactly.
The only thing that I will give Tony Romo credit for is his 97.1 passer rating is the highest passer rating in NFL history among retired quarterbacks that never won a Super Bowl. So you know
what the crazy thing about it is, of all of this is that Dallas has had two good quarterbacks. I'm not saying great. I'm not saying superstar. I'm saying Dallas has had two really good quarterbacks. And with two really good quarterbacks, you should be able to make it to the Super Bowl, a.k.a. Trent Dilfer, a.k.a. Joe Flacco, and the list goes on and on. You should be able to make it with that. And you know what?
Shitty quarterbacks instead of
But yet they can't, right? Are you going to tell me that Joe Flacco or Trent Dilfer that won the Super Bowl are better than Dak Prescott? Because if so, then you're an idiot. Neither one of them are better.
Hey, same thing with Brad Johnson in Tampa.
Exactly. I just think the teams that they were on, and again, does it go back to quarterback or does it go back to play calling? How much do we put on the head coach, offensive and defensive coordinators' shoulders as to whether or not they get there or not?
They're saying as the black community speaker, you can have Dak give us Joe Burrow.
Oh my God, that's hilarious! You know what? Hey, listen, hey, I'm there with Here comes Frankie. No, don't bring his ass in. Leave his ass out. Do not bring his ass.
Frankie, where you have Pat Mahomes at if he wins?
I'm kidding, Frank. You know I love you.
Jay, first of all, Jay, go eat some fucking cheeseburgers.
God, I know. No, not cheeseburgers. Frankie, I don't like cheeseburgers. They're hamburgers. It's hamburgers.
Yo, listen, I'm in here now, all right? So don't make me do something that others don't want to do, like this. All right, so where do I rate Patrick Mahomes right now if he wins another Super Bowl? Honestly, I'm going to have to put him in the top 5, top 3, honestly. I'm going to agree with you guys because the man's been to 5 straight AFC championship games. This will be his 3rd in 6 years in the Super Bowl. He got 1 ring to show for it against the 49ers. Can he get this victory over an impressive Eagles team offensively and defensively? I'll put him up there, especially when he's not even 100% right now. We all know that this guy's playing with a banged up ankle. So, yes, he got 2 weeks to rest it and heal up a little bit to get ready to go. But we all know when you have a high ankle sprain, it takes more than just 2 to 3 weeks to, be 100%. So, plus on top of that, you got Travis Kelce with a back problem. So, he's doing things that we are impressed to see him do. But let's not take this to consideration, and let's not get this Greg up there above me a little, too hype. All right, Greg, get him out of that GOAT conversation. He'll be a great quarterback, but get him out of that GOAT conversation. That GOAT conversation will always and forever be with Tom Brady. All right.
Hey, Frankie, what was your opinion? Hey, how did you feel when they lit up the Empire State Building green to support the Eagles in New York?
They always do that. It doesn't matter. I mean, the Empire State Building always light up colors for any team. I mean, honestly.
No, but that's what but they specify the green is to celebrate Philadelphia.
I think they do it for any NFC East team that's in the playoffs.
Yeah,
do they really?
Yeah,
I think so.
They do.
I didn't know that. Okay, well, hey, you learn something every day.
I know because they're not in New York or nothing like that, but they're representing the East. You feel me? Like they're still in the East area.
Same thing with same thing with baseball too. When the Braves were in the World Series, the Empire State Building was lit up red for the Braves just because they were from the NL East.
Yeah, you just
I
never
got
see.
you, Gonzo.
You'll just never see the color blue. That's all.
Man, I didn't realize Greg was taking off on us, or I would have given him a nice, beautiful goodbye, Kansas City style.
Yeah, he had to go to work.
No, fuck that. He left because
we all know about that. Well, I don't. I'm retired. Every day is work for me, but it's all good.
He left because Frankie C came in here. He didn't want the smoke.
He didn't want that Frankie C smoke, man. I got you.
All right, guys, I got to go, but thanks for coming on.
All right, Greg. Gonzo, I'll catch you soon. Man, what a time to be alive, man. But seriously, I mean, so okay. So we now we know that let's get so right now we got 49ers, or excuse me, we got the Eagles, and we got who else? We got the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Eagles, Chiefs, round the horn. Who you got? Frankie.
Oh man. I normally pick the AFC to win just because the Patriots are AFC style. But I'm gonna have to go Philadelphia on this one. I got one of my best friends. He's an Eagles fan, and I would like to see Jalen Hurts get the Super Bowl ring. Especially after all he's been through with Alabama and then going to Oklahoma. I really want to see Jalen Hurts get that ring. We already seen Patrick Mahomes get it. And I don't want Patrick Mahomes to win because then people like Greg will go around saying he's the new GOAT, and it's not gonna happen.
All right, so Frankie's going with the Chiefs, stat guy.
I'm going with the Eagles.
That's what I said, the Eagles. Or did I say Chiefs? I'm sorry, I meant Eagles. You're going with the Eagles. Stat guy, who you got?
I've been rolling with the Chiefs since the beginning, so I'm not going to bail on them now. But I will say if the 3 receivers that got hurt yesterday are not back for the Super Bowl, that the Eagles win, but I still got to stick with the Chiefs.
Deontay. Two Eagles are in the house right now. Who you got?
It's one Eagle, one Chief. Oh my God!
I know. I keep trying to get you to be an Eagles person. Chiefs for Frankie C.
Frankie's got the Eagles. I have the Chiefs.
Yeah, he's got.
That's what I said.
No, you said you're trying to get me the Eagles. I'm already with the Eagles.
I hate this game already. Frankie has the Eagles, and Stat Guy has the Chiefs. So we're one apiece right now. Deontay, please settle the score.
Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league, but I have to go with the Eagles. That's the better team due to the fact I love Jalen Hurts. I love to see.
Yeah, I'm going to ride with the Eagles as well. So it's the Eagles overdone. But I would say that even though I believe that the Eagles are going to win, I still hope privately or publicly, however you want to say it, that the Chiefs pull it out because I just know Philly sports guy is going to be all over the place. I know Philly sports guy, he's going to be all over.
I would love to see Jalen Hurts win one. It will be a great story to see Jalen Hurts win one. And nobody actually believed in him, even when he was drafted. So for him to do that and for him to win this, and this team was orchestrated nicely. It's 15 out of 22 players on that team, I think, are homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Can we one thing I do want to ask you guys though, because I'm sure you saw the post-game interviews. Somebody needs to check how many pain pills were in Travis Kelce, because that guy was high on life for those post-game interviews yesterday.
Oh yeah. Did you see? What did he say? Burrow had my ass.
This is Mahomes' house.
This is Mahomes' house, and then he goes and calls the Cincinnati governor a jabroni and went full rock quote on him from the 90s.
Yeah, he did.
You know how pissed I'll be if the mayor said Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes' dad.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, even if Kelce had not been on pain pills or whatever, he wasn't too far off. I probably would have done the same thing. Look, bro, when the mayor of another city is calling you all these things, you gotta look, and you win. You look, come on, you better take the smoke. Just look. Travis Kelce was giving out the smoke. You take the smoke.
He really shouldn't, though. My ass too.
He really shouldn't, though. Honestly, I understand you won, but that's your first win against Joe Burrow. Like, you really shouldn't. I understand it's in the AFC Championship game. You beat Burrow to get to the Super Bowl. But, bro, this is your first win against Joe Burrow. You're still.
I get that. Hey, I understand where you're coming from too on that as well, Frankie. I do. And that's why I really
Patrick
hope that
Mahomes though. I think Patrick Mahomes Joe Burrow's coming, and he's coming for his spot.
Yeah, let's not take that. Let's not take that out of the fact as well. Patrick Mahomes tried to throw some shade in there as well. He's over here telling the fans, "Hey, what's the stadium called out there again?" Like, we know what you're trying to do, Patrick Mahomes. So don't even try and go there.
Joe
bro.
Burrow coming. That's all I'm gonna say. And pause after that.
Hey, I'm going to switch the gear just for a second, if we can. I want to go to NBA just for a brief moment. The Bucks are really trying to make some moves, man, to move up from where they are. I know they've been talking with the Rockets about acquiring Eric Gordon, and now they're obviously talking to the Suns about trying to acquire Jay Crowder. Which one do you think is most likely to happen? And which one do you? Three-part question. Which one do you think will happen, Crowder or Gordon or both? You can go both too. Number two, which one do you think is the better of the two, Crowder or Gordon, for this team? And then number three, which one do you think is most likely to happen?
Oh, I think Gordon is by far the best one for your team. I don't think
I don't.
Crowder.
I don't.
I like Gordon more than Crowder.
I think Crowder's the best option.
Hold on. Okay, so it's a three-part. I guess that's a three-part question. So you think that they're more likely to go after Gordon? We'll make it down to two-part. So you think they're most likely to go after Gordon? Do you think they're able to pull that off?
I don't think they'll be able to pull off Gordon, but I think they could pull off Crowder.
Okay, that's fair enough. Stat guy?
I think Gordon is a better player just because he brings a lot of what Chris Middleton brought. And with Middleton still being not 100%, it helps the Bucks. But Crowder is the better option because of the Crowder effect. And if you look at the last four teams that Jay Crowder has played for, all four teams have been in the conference finals or the NBA finals, and they have a better record after acquiring Crowder. Whatever it is, whenever Jay Crowder gets on a team, it is what they call the Jay Crowder effect, where all of a sudden the team plays at a different level. So going off of that, he's the better option to pick up.
I'm gonna let Frankie wrap this up because I don't want to forget what you just brought to my mind about that. I think Eric Gordon is the better Aaron Gordon. I'm saying Eric Gordon. Aaron Gordon is a better player of the two. I believe me. I've watched Aaron Gordon forever in Houston, and I know how well he does that three ball and all that. But I will say this: Crowder is what I call that junkyard dog. The original junkyard dog in my mind, because that's what I was around for, was the Mario Ellie from the Rocket days. Mario Ellie was a junkyard dog, and then you have Jay Crowder, and then you also have another PJ Tucker was a junkyard dog, and I think that I feel like Crowder will give the Bucks that junkyard dog mentality that they were lacking last year when they didn't have PJ Tucker. So again, I think to Stat Guy's point, I think Crowder would be the perfect scenario there because he gives them that defensive toughness that what they need is that mean streak in them to get the championship. But Frankie, who do you think is the better choice there for them? Crowder or PJ Tucker?
Well, you basically just answered that question, right? I mean, yeah, they lost, what's his name, PJ Tucker and stuff.
Right.
But Crowder, like you said, he's just like that mentality and defensively wise, better than Eric Gordon. I think that would be a perfect fit for them is to get Crowder just because they need that toughness and that person that's not gonna just back off of playing D. He's just gonna stay on your face and play solid defense, kind of like what PJ Tucker did when he was with them. Let's not forget that was the guy that stopped Kevin Durant from advancing to the next round over the Bucks. So I think Jameson Crowder can do that same thing to where Eric Gordon, he can give you a little bit of defense, but more on the offense. And I don't think the Bucks need more offense. They need more defensive.
Absolutely. And another thing I wanted to kind of talk about, and I think Anthony Price kind of he said, your role, and shut your mouth, you jabroni! I love that.
He was pissed.
Hey, real quick, I want to talk about this for a second. Can we talk about how LeBron is trying to win an Oscar award? I got to admit, guys, look, I did not see this play, but it's all over ESPN where they felt like the refs missed the call on LeBron, and I'm assuming that's what Anthony Price is alluding to. Did anybody caption
They
in the
did.
panel here catch
They
that?
did. They did.
Okay,
In the
so
final,
Frankie, why don't you lead us off on that?
so in the final seconds, it was a tie game, 104 apiece. LeBron James go for a layup with about a couple seconds left. I think it was like 4.4 seconds left. He goes for the layup, and it was a clear smack to the arm by Jason Tatum. And no foul was called. The buzzer was done. They didn't want to review it. We couldn't challenge it, but they should have looked at it because it was a clear foul. Everybody's seen it. Hell, everybody heard it. You can hear the slap that he did on LeBron James. I give it to LeBron James. Yeah, he has some moments where he has flops or he has moments where he cries too much or stuff like that. I'm not 100% a LeBron James fan like our boy Pride and stuff. I'm just a LeBron fan because he's on my team. I support everybody that comes to the Lakers no matter what. You could be trash, you could be garbage. It don't matter. You're on my team. I'm gonna respect you. Like Patrick Beverly, I hate him, but I respect him because he called Chris Paul a traffic cone. But LeBron, he clearly got fouled. He clearly got fouled, and it didn't get called. So he had, of course you're gonna get pissed off. Like my man was upset. He literally got so mad because it's unbelievable that the man has been getting fouled literally a couple of recent games now. I've seen that it was about 4 games where they missed foul calls to where it could have been in the Lakers' favor. But I do agree with other people. We went into overtime, so we had another chance there at overtime to try and beat them. But the refs need to be more, they need to be more focused and more, be more like the referees that they should be. They're not seeing these
I
fouls.
feel you. Deontay, did you catch the game at all, or did you?
Yeah, I watched parts of the game. One, that was a clear foul. Clear as
I mean, because let me ask you this: because what Anthony Price is saying is, it was a foul. But he feels LeBron did too much.
I think he did too much as well, but I think he was also pissed. You got to realize the Lakers are the 13th seed. They're fighting to win games and etc. So every game to them, how they played, even though it's their fault, how they played in the beginning of the season, how they're playing is like every game matters at this moment. Like
we should be in the 6th. We should be in the 6th seed right now, bro. No lie.
Yeah, they should be in the 6th seed. That was a BS call. Even Tatum knew that was a BS call because the post he made afterwards. But I think this weekend was just terrible at officiating in general.
How did you feel about this, that guy?
I mean, it is what it is. I said it this morning when I was with Ray on the morning show that I think it's just time that the Lakers move on from LeBron. It's better for their future if they move on from him right now. Because they can get assets in return that are going to help them make the playoffs this year. They can acquire draft picks that they don't have, which will help them build for the future, and it just puts them in a better spot than where they are right now.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the last things I wanted to kind of talk about or hit on before we get out of here, as we're already about the 2-hour mark, is Embiid being shut out or spurned from the All-Star voting. How do you guys feel about Embiid being snubbed at the All-Star starters? And we'll go counterclockwise. Deontay, Embiid gets snubbed, right or wrong? Was it the correct choice
for the All-Star starters?
Yes.
I don't think Embiid's the only one that got snubbed, but I think
but I'm just using him right now as. And the reason why I'm talking about Embiid is because
as the lead leader in scores, one of the best records in the East.
Right.
Yeah, I think he got snubbed. I love Donovan. I love Donovan. I think how it should go, they should have a center in there. Giannis, I understand is playing as the front court, but Embiid, as the person that lead the league in scoring and is not on the All-Star team, and their team is actually winning, that's a huge problem with me. I just think how the fan voting and everything, how the voting is set up for front court and back court and etc. I just think is really bad. I honestly think Embiid was snubbed, but the biggest snub to me, in my opinion, one of the biggest snubs is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should have been a starter. And I know what people's gonna say. I think Shai Gilgeous had in the West. He's the second best. He's had the second best season as a guard in the West, behind Luka. I think he's had a better one there, averaging 30 off 51% shooting. He has a better record than the Lakers. and he's played more games than Steph Curry and averages more points and field goal percentage is better than Stephen Curry's at this moment. And Zion only played 29 games. I think Shai Gilgeous should have been a starter. That's me, and Embiid should have been a starter as well.
So, Stat Guy, did the fans get it wrong?
I mean, this is why I was never keen on all-star votes going to the fans, because they're going to just vote in who they like. They don't necessarily vote in based off of how you perform. I think ultimately all-star voting should come between the players and the coaches that have to play with these guys on a nightly basis. Because,
I'm okay with media too. If you want,
media, because the fans are going to vote for the fans for who they want to see. Like, I'll use LeBron James as an example. He could be averaging 45 points a game, but if he's a complete asshole to fans and if he's a complete asshole to the media, fans aren't going to vote him in just because they don't like him, and that doesn't mean he doesn't deserve to be the starter, because he does. Fans only vote for who they want to see, whether they deserve to be the starter or not, and that's why Pro Bowl, All-Star voting, all that stuff, I don't even pay attention to it anymore, because 90% of the time you're going to have multiple people that get snubbed just because they're not as popular with the fans as other players are, even if those players have better numbers than the others.
Yeah. Frankie, you get the two-part question. Do you think the fans got it wrong in not putting Embiid in there, number one? And then number two, to follow up on Stat Guy's point, should fans be taken out of it? And should it just be players, coaches, and media that puts the starters in?
Yeah, I don't think the fans should be casting the votes anymore, because it's getting ridiculous that we see players who are actually playing really good this year that should be considered all-stars. Like Deontay said, you got the guy from OKC who's actually balling out. I couldn't agree more with him. Like everything he said is completely true. The man is literally on fire this year. And then you got Embiid who got snubbed this year at the All-Star.
He averages 33. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and then instead you got Zion who's in there who literally is like injured half the time. And you got you don't even got John Morant in there. Like, that's another thing. You don't got John Morant in there. And then you got Donovan Mitchell, who I think is only in there because of that 71 performance, the 71-point performance he had on the Chicago Bulls. I think the fans looked at that. And they're like, "Oh, well, let's get Donovan Mitchell."
But he had a solid season. He's having
he has. Yeah, of course he has. I'm not putting down Donovan Mitchell. I'm just saying that's what I think the fans put him in there for, is because of that 71-point performance. If the votes were off the fans and put into the actual NBA, of like probably the NBA PA or something, maybe we would have seen a better match. I wouldn't say better matchup, because this matchup looks pretty good to me as well. Also, we would have seen those players that are not in there who should be in there. Also, question, you guys: isn't Kevin Durant out? Yeah, Kevin Durant is out.
How the hell is he a starter?
I don't think
because the fans voted him in, because that's one of the players fans love.
Yeah, he was supposed to be team captain, but because he got hurt and he's out, he's no longer. I don't think he's gonna start. He's no longer team captain. That went to Giannis.
Hey, you want to hear a stat, guy? You want to hear a crazy stat? The last time that they did this, where they allowed the captains to choose their teams, Durant was hurt then too.
Yep.
What a time to be alive,
This must
man.
be crazy. Like, I understand Kevin Durant's one of the best scorers ever. Curry's a top 10 player. We're not saying Zion isn't outstanding, but I can't say nothing about LeBron. LeBron's played a lot of games. LeBron played a good amount this year.
Let me say,
all these other guys, like Zion only played 30 games this year. Not even.
Let me say, yeah, I know what you're saying about Zion too, and I'm not faulting you for thinking that way, because I think a lot of people do. The one thing I want to say about this is I think you guys are right. Where I think Embiid was right, or no, it wasn't Embiid. It was Bam Adebayo that said that he felt like the fans are getting it wrong, and that there's other deserving players that should be in there, and he's not wrong either. However, I do think the fans have to have some sort of vote from a business standpoint, right? You got to think the NBA is still at the end of the day, NBA is still a business. And the one thing about your business is you have, just like any other business, the customer is always right. You know what I'm saying? Because the customer is what pays the player's salary. So you do have to listen to what the fans are saying.
Well, then I have
because that is the heartbeat.
Jay,
That is the
I have
heartbeat.
a solution. I have a solution then.
Well, hold on, damn it. Can I finish my statement? I'll come to you. Is it okay?
No,
'Cause
Jay,
I
it's
gave
not
all-
okay.
I gave all three of you
But
guys.
Jay,
and
you're
I'm
also
the
putting them
last. So,
dudes'
hold on.
contracts in jeopardy.
Deontay, hold on. I'll give a
What are their
rebuttal.
bonuses?
How about that? Deontay, hold on. I'll give you a rebuttal. You can say whatever you want. Hold on. What I'm saying is this. I think this is the way I think it should be. I think it should be divided 4 different ways for starters. I think fans, it should be by 25%. So each one gets a quarter, right? Fans get 25%, players get 25%, coaches get 25%, and the media gets 25%. And I think if you do it that way, you get a nice, healthy round of everybody putting these guys in. And I think that makes everybody happy. But to completely ignore the fans and say we shouldn't have the fans in there, that's like telling me, okay, your revenue comes from the fans, but yet you don't want to hear what the fans want. That would be bad business. Any business you do. That'd be like me going into a steakhouse and saying, hey, your steak sucks. Do I listen to you? Do I listen to the customer, or do I continue to put out product that sucks and probably not making money? You got to listen to your customer base. So that's why I give them at the very least 25% to get their inclusion in this. But Stat Guy, I'm gonna go you 1, and then Dante, you 2 for rebuttals, and then we'll get to final thoughts. Unless Frankie, I'll come back to you if you want to do a rebuttal as well. Stat Guy, you started off rebut.
I think fans should be allowed to vote for. I think fans should be allowed to vote. But realistically, I think when you have like your top 2 vote getters, I think that should be kind of the thing. Like fans vote who they want to go in, like 25%, 50%, like you said, Jay. But then when you have like your top 2 vote getters, say one is Giannis and one is LeBron, once those top 2 vote getters are there, I think the fans should be out of it at that point. And then you let the media decide, like, okay, these are the top 2 vote getters. We're going to vote on who we think the other 18 All-Stars are going to be. And we're going to put all 20 of these All-Stars together. And then the top 2 vote getters get to pick their team. So it'll kind of be the same format that they have now. But let fans vote who they want to vote. And then when you get to the point where these 2 people have the most votes, take them out of the equation, take the fans out of the equation at that point, and let the media, the players, coaches vote for the rest. But if the fans really want to have a part in All-Star Weekend, let them vote for who they want in a 3-point competition. Let them vote who they want to see in the dunk competition. And if the players they're voting in decide that they don't want to do it, then have like the media or have the NBA like pick a replacement. But give fans that aspect of it. Realistically, more people watch All-Star Weekend for the dunk contest. More people watch All-Star Weekend for the 3-point shootout and all the stuff leading up to the All-Star.
People hate the games at this point.
Give fans the opportunity to vote for who they want to see for that, because that's ultimately what All-Star Weekend is for. And then let the league take care of All-Star games, since nobody really cares about the All-Star game anymore because it's literally 180 to 170 now, and nobody cares about it.
I want to be honest.
And the thing about it is I pray to God, Deontay. I hope and I pray that the dunk contest this year is better than last year. Because God, last year it sucked so bad.
Last year was one of the worst
it made me
ever.
cry. It made me cry. That's how I was embarrassed. I was actually embarrassed for my Rockets, Jalen Green, to be in there, because you all know how bad he was. It was embarrassing. The whole dunk contest, honestly, was an embarrassment. And I think all the players knew it was an embarrassment. It was horrible. But Deontay, I know you had a rebuttal as well. So what did you want to say, brother?
One, I understand. Like, I agree with Stat Guy. I think Stat Guy said it very well. Like, have the fans vote like for like the skills position challenges, like All-Star voting. Like, no, not like for the All-Star Weekend. Like, honestly, I think All-Star Weekend, it's been tainted because there's many times where fans just voted for people that they liked instead of who had an outstanding season. I believe something like as in the All-Star starters, the media should have a big choice in that, because it's like, all right, you're messing with some of these people contracts. They got clauses in there. If you make an extra million, you make an All-Star. So imagine if you're one of the guys averaging 30, play 44 out of 49 games. and your spot get taken by a guy that played
Right.
games. I'm thinking about it like that, but also I think they use fan voting so much because remember, it's like what Stat Guy says, they're getting like 180, 170 games, almost 200-point games. And at this point, real die-hard basketball fans only is excited about the All-Star break is because after the All-Star break, that's when basketball is taken more serious. That's the only reason.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that.
But most of the All-Star weekend now at this point, back in the day, it used to be like for adults and for everybody, family. Now it's just for kids. And hopefully how they're trying to change the All-Star weekend every year. Have you noticed like the NBA is trying to find new things to try to change it to? Hopefully they find a niche that they like. I honestly think it should be a 3-on-3 tournament. I think that would be pretty cool for All-Star weekend. But like how football's changing to 7-on-7, like the Pro Bowl changed to 7-on-7, I think basketball should do something like a different tournament, like with the players in the play, like a 3-on-3 tournament, and players can like get like bonuses and stuff so they can play and take it more serious to a game of 21 instead of watching. I love the new generation. I think new generation is more skilled, but I'm tired of seeing 160 to 150. It's like nobody's playing defense. It's like just a 3-point game.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Before we get to final thoughts, Frankie, your last up. Did you have any rebuttal in terms of Embiid being snubbed or the fan voting and the way that it occurs? Anything like that at all that you wanted to put in there?
No, I'm all good. The only thing I'm gonna say is fuck Kevin Durant.
What KD do to you?
Oh, Frankie's
the biggest Kevin Durant fan on the planet. He just loves him so much that he gives Kevin Durant praise every day.
Hey, listen, man, Frankie.
That's like saying Stat Guy is a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. Like he wish he was with the Minnesota Vikings.
Exactly. That's how much Frankie loves Kevin Durant.
All right. Well, hey, we're gonna jump into some final thoughts, and then we're gonna bail up on out of here. Deontay, we're gonna go counterclockwise again. Final thoughts, brother.
No, Kellen Moore's our OC. That's the thought that you think.
What a time to be alive.
That's the thought you think you should have. So I'm not going to use a bolt up. I'm just going to say good luck next season.
Amen, brother.
Be careful what you wish for, Deontay. You're the one that wanted Lombardi fired.
But you don't get nobody that's exactly the same. That's stupid.
Hey, listen. Hey, I'm on a time crunch here. Stat Guy, final thoughts. Bolts down.
For the first time in our lifetime, we're on the verge of having football 12 months straight. NFL ends in 2 weeks when the Super Bowl ends. XFL starts after that and will run until mid-April. USFL starts in mid-April and will run through the end of June. CFL starts in May and will run through November, and then the NFL starts in the middle of that.
I'm excited to see the XFL this year. I like to see how it is.
Yeah, me too. I am extremely excited to see XFL. I want to see what they bring to the tables, especially under new management. I want to see what they bring to the table. Frankie, man, final thoughts, brother. What you got for me?
I really don't got much, man. It's gonna be a shitty Super Bowl because these are two shitty teams that we're about to watch. Nobody cares about the Chiefs. Nobody cares about the Eagles. We don't care how high the Eagles fly, and we don't care about the kingdom of the Chiefs because the Chiefs really don't got no kingdom. All they do is ride on horses all around the world. But yeah, I don't really got any final thoughts, man. Everybody enjoy your day, enjoy your week. Get ready for the Pro Bowl next week because that's gonna be shitty. We got flag football next week.
They got the Madden tournament.
All right.
And then baseball, baby. Baseball's under 60 days, baby. Baseball's under 60 days.
I'm glad you said baseball, Frankie. I am so glad you said that because my Astros sweeping broom is a little old and raggedy from sweeping the Yankees this year. So, Frankie, could you get me a new broom, please? Because we got a lot of sweeping to do still with the Yankees. What a time to be alive. Sweep.
You think
out the playoffs, baby.
You think this year's gonna be like last year, Jay, but there's not gonna be no sweep this year, buddy. You can keep sleeping and dreaming about that sweep. You can always bring up the previous years like you always do. But this year,
See,
this
hey,
year that baby.
that guy. You can always bring up the previous years. Well, I probably
'cause
could,
I
but
don't
I'm
get
going to stay with this year. And this year, we spanked that ass.
Okay.
But hey,
good,
no, seriously, folks. I appreciate everybody joining in. Gonzo's Sports Room. You can reach him at pretty much any outlet. If you just go Gonzo's Sports Room, you'll pull him up. Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Gonzo Sports Room. We'll get you anything Gonzo Sports Room related material. Deontay, man, thank you for being on, my brother. Stat Guy, man, love you, brother. Thank you for being on. Frankie C, baby. Frankie,
Yo, Stat Guy.
Frankie, man.
Yeah,
Yo,
Frankie.
yo, Stat Guy.
Yes, Frankie.
I'm gonna be ask you this, right? And let's not hold back on Jay. This year, MLB, Seattle Mariners lead the AL West.
I'm actually picking Texas.
Ooh!
Dude, what?
To win the AL West, bringing in Bruce Bochy, having Jacob deGrom, and some of the pieces they've made. I'm picking Texas to be the Seattle Mariners of last year, this year, and to win the AL West.
So where do you put Houston Astros?
Okay.
Hold on,
I'm sorry for that. We do like to. No. Take his ass out because we're a credible show here.
No, hold on,
Jay. Listen,
give me 30 seconds, Jay. Jay, just 30 seconds. Jay.
Football, and also.
I'm gonna mute him real quick. Because I got 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds. So with you saying that, where do you put the Houston Astros next year? First, second, or third?
Astros get second place. They get the number 1 wild card in the American League, and they get eliminated in 6 games by the Yankees, and the Yankees go to the World Series.
Let's go! All right, now you're unmuted, Jay. Now you can close it out.
Hey, listen. Hey, at the end of the day, man, I gotta make my analysts happy. Okay, I can't have upset analysts on my show. So if that makes Frankie C and Stat Guy and Deontay, who's muted, probably over there masturbating, if it makes them happy, then so be it. It makes them happy. Damn it. With that being said, folks, hey, you can catch me. Hey, Mel, I'm working right now. Give me about 2 seconds. Hold on. Would that be no? Okay, fine. No worries.
Jay, that's how long it takes you is 2 seconds?
Sometimes I have literally perfected my need for euphoria down to about 2 seconds. Yeah. By the way, Stat Guy, I do want to compliment you, man. You know what? Hold on a minute, Stat Guy. I got you. Stat Guy, don't move real quick. As we get out of here, folks, look at that beautiful face. Look at that beautiful face. Stat Guy, if you could just repeat after me, this is my weapon. This is my gun.
This is my weapon. This is my gun.
This is for working. This is for fun.
This is for work. This is for fun.
You can say the rest, but we all know at the end of the day, it ends with Stat Guy with the gun in his mouth playing Full Metal Jacket. Joker. Oh, what a time to be alive. Stat Guy, I do love the haircut, though. Seriously, don't change. Don't change for anybody. I think you're doing great things over there. But no, hey, look, guys, you can catch Unscripted at Unscripted Guys, all one word. Twitter, Frankie C runs that. He does a hell of a good job doing that. Keeps you with the up-to-date information, keeps you anything Unscripted related. That's all on Frankie. He does a hell of a good job. So Unscripted Guys, all one word on Twitter. And you can catch us on TikTok at Unscripted Sports, all one word. And then obviously, you got Gonzo Sports Room, which is on currently right now doing easy money with the sports betting picks. And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, he does also his late night show at 11 Eastern. So make sure you catch all that content. Is there anything y'all want to plug? Deontay, anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Deontay's still spanking it. Hold on a minute now. Stat Guy, anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Any place where we can find you at?
Just you can find most of my work at chicagosportshq.com. I do a lot of writing and columning for them. And if you get chances to catch any of the UW Oshkosh basketball games, I've been doing play-by-play for them lately. So,
Anthony Price, you are correct. Okay, cool. Frankie C, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
No, not really, because I'm on Unscripted as well. So you can catch us, like Jay said, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We're soon going to have a show. It's going to be called Unscripted Philly Takeover, where we have two Philly fans, one being the Philly sports guy and one being a native in my area, also an Eagles fan. So we're going to be talking Super Bowl soon and having some Eagle fans on there. So that's going to be fun to watch. And that's it, man. That's where you can catch me. You can catch Jay, though. You can catch Jay on Bang Bros or anything like that. You know, he's on there. If you enjoy quick 60-second videos and stuff, he's on there. So go ahead and check him out.
make sure you look for Jay on Reverse Cowboy Central.
Hey, look, I got two presents. I got one for Stat Guy, and I got one for Frankie C.
Sorry, I don't do that unless you buy me dinner first.
Bitch, I'll buy your ass Chick-fil-A. Shut your fucking mouth.
Still food.
I don't do that. I don't do that unless you buy me Buzz. That's all I say.
Hey, that might not be hard to accomplish. Anyway, before we get in trouble here, thank you all for joining Afternoon Blitz on the All Sports, All Plays Network. And, yeah, man, we will catch you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. again, and we'll have more information for you guys. Until next time, it's your boy Jay, Deontay, Stat Guy, Frankie C, and Gonzo saying...
And Greg.
Oh, and Greg. Oh, I think I did the wrong thing, Frankie. Play, motherfucker. Why is that thing? Is it playing, Frankie? Is it playing or is it just? Oh, that's background. Oh, fuck! I fucked that up.
It's still live.
I fucked that up, Frankie. I can't. Dude, they got like thousands of videos of this motherfucker. Oh my!